MLB stars take the stage on Sunday Night Baseball. Guardians, Mets, Sunday at 7 Eastern on ESPN. Presented by Casamigos Tequila.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Joined now by Dan Graziano, ESPN NFL insider, for a little, believe it or not, listener bold predictions for the NFL season. Justin Fields has an all-time breakout year and wins MVP, believe it or not.
I would say I believe it. I think when you look at his skill set, he can turn into something. He may wind up having a potential Lamar Jackson type year at the MVP
That's what it would
level.
Look like, yeah.
Or maybe even a Jalen Hurts, even though he doesn't have the receiving core that Jalen Hurts has, but he does have some pieces with DJ Moore and Claypool in position to make some plays for him. So I believe it.
Deep sleeper. Maybe not even that deep. They were in a lot of games because of this guy without anything around him. Now he has more around him.
If they're a 10-win team, then it's probably that's probably the narrative at that point.
GJ and Max, followed by Greeny. Mornings on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Coming to you live from the Superbook Sports Studios in Kettering. You're listening to Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Well, look who's back.
Hey, what's up?
Kinner and Kev live here on 1410 ESPN Radio. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. Mr. Kev Nash, welcome.
What up, though?
Welcome back, of course.
Yes, sir. Mother's Day. As everyone knows, I'm a mama's boy. So when Mother's Day comes around, I go see my mom and my grandma. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Went up there on Thursday, hung out with my mom and grandma all weekend long, hung out with my mother-in-law as well, my sister-in-law and the nephew, got to hang out with my cousins. I had a great time. I missed the schedule release. I'm sure Friday's show was amazing. I'm sure it was feeling like an October show with all the bickering going on between you guys and the listeners and everything like that. How was Friday? Do tell.
Bengals are the Super Bowl champions already.
17-0?
18-0. They gave him an extra win. But nonetheless, yes. Look, the schedule release. By the way, Dove Kleiman on Twitter. If you follow him, unfollow him. He just gave out spoilers the entire time. Every time I got on Twitter, so I even unfollowed him, but it just continued to pop up. But no, we'll get to bits and pieces of that schedule release coming up in a moment. Just some of your takeaways, of course. But we kind of gave. I went through and I did the typical.
Yeah.
Here's the wins. Here's the losses.
What'd you come out with?
12-5 for the Browns and 11-6 for the Bengals.
Okay.
And I gave logical explanations, i.e., it is what it is. I feel like it was logical. I brought up the fact that, yes, the Bengals, I think, are a better team than the Browns. I said, but you look at the fact that the Browns play a significantly easier schedule. I think the Bengals defense took a hit, and you're going up against Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, and you're going up against every top quarterback in the league. So, yeah, I do think that there's room to be a little concerned. And adding Orlando Brown, although that was the biggest addition, that was the number one free agent to add this offseason. If you look at how bad the O-line was last year, I don't think that they're one piece away from him being upright, the entire season. But we'll get to some of that coming up. I do want to open up with the Bengals. It's what we do.
Let's get it on.
I only bring this up because today was the first time that Joe Burrow addressed the media since the Bengals lost to the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. Is the first time, in this offseason, especially with free agency and the draft and everything, first time that Joe Burrow and company addressed the media. And right away, of course, what do you think that the number one talking point is right now with the Cincinnati Bengals? Contracts, and more contracts. By the way, Kenny Grubb says the Browns 8-9 prediction is crap. Kenny, where's that prediction at? We'll get to that, but I'm curious where that prediction is. But no, so Joe Burrow addressed the media today, and of course, no surprise, he was asked about, his thoughts on, what's the status of the contract negotiation with the Cincinnati Bengals. There is nothing to be said. I mean, look, no quarterback ever gives you anything to dissect, but hey, that's our job to do it. It's May, bear with us. But here's Joe Burrow's response when he was asked in the little media scrum regarding the status of the contract negotiation with the Bengals. Take a listen.
Yeah, I'm involved. That's, it's in the works. That's not really something that I like to play out in the media. That's something, just the way I think they want to do business. I want to do business. We prefer to keep that between us.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, he didn't give us really anything there. The one thing he did say that I found interesting is a lot of times you'll hear quarterbacks say, "Hey, I'm out of that. I let my agent deal with that." I don't think he said anything wrong. I think that the quarterbacks who say, "Yeah, I don't deal with that. I let my agents do," I think those guys lie. I think Joe Burrow's telling the truth. I think Joe Burrow is involved. I think he should be. I think when you have agents, it's not to, it's to protect you from some of the tough conversations, but at the same time, I think you should be involved, and I think that he should be involved in this. So, look, a lot of people took that and, oh, man, he's involved. He's going to get exactly what he wants. Look, Lamar was involved in his. Obviously, he didn't have an agent. Patrick was involved in his. Every quarterback's involved, but usually they just stick to those little lines of, oh, that's for my agent to decide. Nothing to take away there, but it does lead to more. But when you hear that, your overall takeaway?
The key word, like you just talked about, involved. Involved to what extent? I mean, you're not as involved as Lamar Jackson because you got an agent. Are they just keeping you updated about the negotiations? What involvement do you mean that you're involved with? Because that'll be my follow-up, because we just seen a quarterback be the guy, not needing the agent to get his deal done. So that would have been my follow-up to Joe about, well, how involved are you? Like, are you crunching numbers? Are you, giving suggestions? Are you out there meeting with, the ownership group? What's going on? How are you involved? Are you just sitting back, just waiting for them to tell you what the numbers are and you giving the thumbs up or thumbs down?
On a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned should Bengals fans be that there's not a deal done yet? I'm at a 1, if even that. There should be no concern. But I do think this idea
0
that this idea that it is, I guess I just want to ask, without stirring the pot, what is he asking for that they're balking at? And what is it that he's asking for that they're saying, no, we can't do that? Because whatever it is that he's asking that they're not, like, it should be to me just, okay, what do you want? Let's make sure it's within what the markets get. What was the highest one that we just got, 55 or whatever. You're not asking for 65. That's a little ridiculous. But if you're asking for 57, yeah, this is probably going in the direction of 57. Let's just get this done, signed, sealed, delivered. Let's go. So, I mean, if he's going to get 55 and he wants 57, are the Bengals really saying, I don't know about that $2 extra million a year? Like, at this point, if you're going to spend big, spend big. So I guess that's where I'm at. I'm not stirring the pot. I would be saying this about any team that is just waiting to pay their quarterback, like the Eagles. They knew what they wanted. He knew what he wanted. I'm sure they met somewhere in between, as any negotiation goes. Lamar didn't get everything that he wanted.
Right.
Ultimately, the Ravens probably still paid more than what they really wanted to at the end of the day, and probably paid more than they had to because of the stalling tactics that were involved in their negotiation. I guess I'm fascinated by, and we're not privy to this, what's the holdup? Because look, I know it's Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. Those are the two best quarterbacks in the league right now. That's fine. I'm not here to debate that. I know Patrick's better. That's all I'm going to say as far as that goes. But the bottom line is I know Joe Burrow didn't win the Super Bowl, but he didn't have to win the Super Bowl for the fans and for the franchise to know how valuable he is. When the Chiefs got their Super Bowl right away, it was like 2 weeks later, the deal was done. There was no stalling. There was no, he wanted this, they wanted that, boom, off they went. Now, I know 46 seems like nothing compared to what everyone else is getting, but at the time, that was the highest paid contract in football. All the oohs and ahs that we do for the contract signed today, we did for him at the time. Now we ooh and ah at his deal still, because we're like, damn, that's a hell of a deal. That's all I'm saying is I just want to know, what's the holdup? Why isn't it done yet? Because yes, it can go on and on and on, but what's leading to it going on and on and on? The longer it goes on, the more susceptible and vulnerable the team is to this getting out of control. Lamar and the Ravens were saying all the right things in the early going. Remember, I remember the owner coming out and saying, look, the quarterback always gets paid. I don't know if you remember that or not, but there was a point where he goes, we knew that this day was coming. We know that quarterbacks always get paid. He's going to get his money. Well, if you know that, then look back and just get it done. So that's the thing here. You know he's going to get his money, and every day that you wait, you risk that money going higher and higher and higher. I just want to know what the holdup is, because I feel like this should just be an easy one. Signed, sealed, delivered. Let's go.
They always seem that way. But I'll say that Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and Hurts are the anomalies, because this is normally what happens. No matter how good you are, no matter how much you prove, it always seems like the organization, be it a team, be it the place that you work for, they always hemming and hawing about giving you your money or giving you a raise or whatever the case may be. We know this people out there listening know this, the places that they work, the ownership just, kicking the can down the road. Oh, we got to get our numbers in order. If we give it to you, we got to give it to somebody else. These are the typical things that businesses do. So we can go back to a situation with super far back. Emmitt Smith, Cowboys won a Super Bowl, MVP of the Super Bowl. After they won the Super Bowl, Jerry Jones was like, we're going to get this man paid. They didn't get him paid. They started the season 0-2. They got him paid. He came back in. They went and won another Super Bowl. Like, it always is this way. It just always is this way, especially in football. Basketball really doesn't happen like that. But in football, it always seems like these deals don't get it done to the last second. Like the team that I follow, Pittsburgh Steelers, 2 years ago with TJ Watt. He started doing the hold in thing. Like, I'm going to show up to camp, but I'm not practicing. I'll be riding the bike. I'll be out there. I'll go to the meetings. I'll hold in, but I want my new contract. I'm not stepping foot on that field with a helmet or doing anything that's going to jeopardize my career until I get my contract. They get the contract done 2 weeks before the season started. 2 weeks before the season started, and he's been there the whole time. What's the holdup? Why are we waiting around for this? Give the man his money so he can be out there and play, and then what happens? Pulled a hamstring because he hasn't been practicing. So for me, I have no idea what these holdups are. I couldn't pick one out if you gave me a list of them. What I do know is this is what happens. The guys that get their stuff done like that super fast, can't snap my fingers, but those are the anomalies. Those just don't happen all the time. Dak Prescott, no matter how people feel about Dak Prescott, that got drug out. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, those are the anomalies because I can't think of anybody else that's got their contract done. Just like that.
So the Dak Prescott whole thing that happened, like, I understand why that was drug out. He wasn't a perfect quarterback.
Right.
Like, there were still, you were winning and you can win with him, but there were deficiencies that were like, okay, we don't know does that warrant the 50 or whatever the heck his deal ended up becoming. Lamar, the same thing. We can argue about the MVP. We can argue about all these things, all the winning, but there's still a style of play that I think owners are hesitant to just dive into the deep end with. With Joe Burrow, back-to-back AFC championships, a couple years removed from only winning 2 games, 4 games the win after, 4 wins the season after that. Super Bowl, back-to-back AFC championship. The Bengals winning the division. There really isn't any flaws with Burrow, or maybe there is, and that's why they're not giving everything he wants, which relax. But my point is, right now, there's no need to panic, but I will say this idea that this is normal for it to not be done by now. For a quarterback like Joe Burrow, it's not normal for this not to be done now, and I would worry the longer it goes on. If we head into the season without a deal done, I'd be a little concerned at that point. But it's May. I'm not really too concerned about it. But like I said, if you really strip it down, when everyone says there's plenty of time, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But just think about it. Take the time, take the fact that it's the month of May out of it. What is he asking for that they're balking at?
What do you think it is?
It could just be money.
Or, you talked about this before today.
That was a dumb answer on my part. Maybe it's more. I don't know. That's what's weird. Like, it's always going to go to money with the Mike Brown family or with the Brown family because they're always being labeled as cheap. So it's like he's asking for a certain amount and they're trying to drag it out. Maybe it's years. Take money out of it. Maybe it's years.
Yeah, could be. I think it kind of goes to what you were talking about when you had the cap analysts on the day I was out of the show. Maybe it's the Bengals getting their money in the escrow because you have to have X amount of dollars in escrow ready to go to prove to the banks and everything like that you have this money just in case something happens that you can cash that person out, So maybe it's a situation like that. Maybe they're just still like financially getting their ducks in a row because he's not the only person that they're working on a contract with. Obviously, Jamar Chase is going to be up. T. Higgins is going to be up. So you're still working out contracts with other guys.
So that's a question just came in. Sean Matthews. Sean, hope you're doing well. He's a Bengals fan. So he says, do you think it's because they are trying to extend Higgins and Wilson? Does one impact the other, I guess?
Yeah, they all impacted each other. As
far as the order of which they're done, Joe Burrow should take precedent, right? I guess what I'm asking is are those two worth not getting a deal done with Burrow right now? I guess is the question.
This goes to like people that are in finance, and my brother's in finance, and he's taught me a lot of things about my finances. Whenever you have like a debt, so say if you got credit card debt, say you got home ownership debt, say you have a car note, they always say tackle the one that is least expensive first. Though minimum payments at the bigger stuff, and then throw all the extra money at whatever you can pay off the quickest, and then, go to the next and everything like that. So whoever they view is going to be the quote unquote cheapest to give money to, that's probably what they're trying to do. Lock that down, get that taken care of, then get the next one, and then get the big one out the way.
All right. So he was asked, Joe Burrow at the press conference today was not just asked about the status of the contract, but then asked about, okay, what is the priority in these contract negotiations? Of the priorities, how much of a priority is the talking point of trying to keep the core together? Here's Joe Burrow's response.
Yeah, it's definitely, whenever you have guys on the team that need to be paid, that's always on your mind. You want that to be a focal point. And so we're working to make that happen.
So that quote hit social media today.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone started doing cartwheels and backflips because what they heard was it's a focal point. Getting them signed is a focal point of these contract negotiations, which means he's going to take less money. That's not what I heard. Listen to it one more time.
Yeah, it's definitely, whenever you have guys on the team that need to be paid, that's always on your mind. You want that to be a focal point. And so we're working to make that happen.
Working to make that happen, which means I'm not saying Joe Burrow is doing like this Aaron Rodgers like list of demands, like, okay, this guy has to be here for me to sign the extension. Joe Burrow is going to get this extension done with the Bengals at some point. And I don't think there's a list of demands, but I think what they're talking about is, okay, what's the plan though?
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, here's what I know what I'm going to get. Here's my contract. I know the ballpark range of what I'm going to get. I don't know how you can listen to that quote and take it as, we're working on me taking less. Like that's what people ran with right away. Is he's going to take less to keep them. I think what I just heard was, oh, yeah, we're working on how we're going to keep them. I think he just wants to know the plan before. I mean, maybe he's holding it up. Maybe, hey, before we go forward with this negotiation, I want to make sure that I have my guys with me. I don't think that means, I want to make sure that I take less to keep them with me. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. I don't know about what you hear in that, but like, I like to hear that from that standpoint. He loves playing with these guys. He loves T. He loves Jamar. Obviously that's a focal point of these negotiations. But I don't know how people just ran with that right away and said, that's him saying he's taking less money. I think that's just him saying, yeah, I want to know the plan. And by the way, that is a part of these negotiations.
Right.
It's not just numbers. It's okay. I'm going to sign my extension. But when I sign that extension, what's the plan?
Right.
How are we going to, what's our plan of attack? Obviously, we're going to take a hit places when I get paid. So what's the plan to overcome some of those deficiencies? That's the vocal point of this. How are we keeping Chase? How are we keeping T? I think that's what he wants to know. I didn't get the vibe that he's taking less money. I would be very shocked if he did, as we've talked about.
Still don't think he's taking less money. I think it's about how those contracts are structured. Like, all right, so, normally when we look at these contracts, there's a little money in the beginning. The next year it gets bigger, and the year after year it gets larger and larger. So what are they going to do? Maybe potentially flip-flop those things? Maybe like, all right, we're gonna pay T and Jamar higher on the front end and lower on the back end, while Joe Burrow's numbers get higher. So it kind of like balances each other out because, quarterbacks play until they're 40, wide receivers play until they're about 32, 33 years old. So obviously those are years you don't want to be paying these guys a ton of money. So like, all right, fine. I'll pay you a ton of money in your most productive years. Fine. Because you'll be worth every dollar. We can see why Julio Jones has been cut multiple times at the back end of his career, because he was ballooned up to making a ton of money and he's not producing anymore. So maybe it's a situation like that. And furthermore, not only does Joe Burrow need to be in these conversations, but all three of these guys need to be on the same page along with their agents and everything like that. Because like, if this is truly what all three of them want, then they all need to be on the same page, not just Joe Burrow saying like, hey man, I'm on the same page with these guys. Well, their plan could be totally different from his plan. So if they're all three on the same page, trying to work these numbers out with the Bengals to say like, all right, yeah, fine. We'll make 32 and 34 in year one, and Joe Burrow's making 25, but then by year, 4 or 5, we'll be making 20 and he'll be making the 57 and stuff like that. So it's all the numbers game.
All right, Kenner and Cav live here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Joe Burrow's not the only Cincinnati Bengal to address the media today. Jamar Chase, star wide receiver for the Bengals, also had his input on the contract negotiations, not just with Burrow, but with T and the rest of the core. He loves talking about other guys' money. And he talked about Joe Burrow's money again today. And I'll have that audio coming up for you on the other side. I didn't like what Jamar Chase had to say, not because I'm a hater, but it's for a lot of the same reasons Kevin and I have discussed in the past. Don't talk about other guys' money. And that's what he's doing again. We're going to have that audio and our reaction and your reaction on the other side.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Forecast is calling for decreasing clouds and 49 tonight, sunny, 70 for Wednesday, sunshine, 75 on Thursday. I'm Rick Schremp for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Hey, Hector, not a real customer. Quote based on a healthy, non-smoking 44-year-old male with a 20-year term policy. Rates may vary.
Welcome to Ethos, a new kind of insurance company that believes life insurance should be hassle-free, affordable, and accessible for everyone.
For around $1 a day, I got a 20-year, $250,000 term life insurance policy without a medical exam. All I had to do was answer a few health questions and snap, family protected. It was quick and easy. Ethos is 100% online. I got a quote in seconds, applied in minutes, and got coverage in hours. Just answer a few health questions. No medical exam, no blood tests, no hassle. Look, nobody wants to plan for the unthinkable, but it would be so much worse to not plan at all. So don't put it off. It feels great having the peace of mind knowing that my family is protected.
Ethos, the 100% online hassle-free way to get affordable life insurance. Don't wait. Get your free online quote now at ethoslife.com. That's ethoslife.com.
Bring that big bet energy this summer with Superbook Sports. Bo Bishop here, and Superbook Sports is the most trusted name in sports betting. And right now, use the promo code ColumbusFan to score up to $250 with their first bet bonus. Win or lose, they will match your first bet up to $250 with the promo code ColumbusFan. Simply visit Superbook.com for terms and conditions or download the Superbook Ohio app in the App Store today. Enter the promo code ColumbusFan and you'll get $250 courtesy of Superbook Sports. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Want to feed your family without breaking the bank? Take a trip to Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken and pick up a 16-piece family meal at a great price. With 16 pieces of our classic honey-dipped, hand-breaded Famous Recipe Chicken, 4 craveable large sides, and 8 fluffy biscuits. It's affordable eats done right. Treat your crowd to the best for less with a Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken 16-piece family meal. Only at Lee's. Famous for chicken.
I'm Faith Daniels, and we have the pleasure to chat with Blake Maislin, Mr. 444-4444. When accidents happen, who do we call?
Well, you call me. You call 444-4444, and you let us get started immediately.
That means a dog bite, a slip and fall, a car accident. Blake Maislin is the call to make.
That's exactly right. We'll come to your house. We'll go to the hospital room. But whatever we can do to help, that's exactly what we do starting on day one.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Blake Maislin, 444-4444-wantmore.com.
At Harley-Davidson of Xenia, the atmosphere is positively electric as we look to the future. Our name may have changed, but Harley-Davidson of Xenia has been locally owned since 1984. Under our new management, the staff in store are buzzing to get you set up for the open road. Whether you're shopping for merchandise, a new bike, or just need some maintenance on your current ride, Harley-Davidson of Xenia is here for you. Visit us online to learn more and to place a reservation on your new bike. hdofxenia.com.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. Excellent pay, benefits, and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today. Online at CordellTransportation.com. Driven to succeed.
By now, you should know Audio Etc. has all the same sales and deals on TVs and projectors as everyone else. But did you know we also have some of the world's best hi-fi? Hi, this is Kirby from Audio Etc. And we do have some of the best home theater, high-fidelity gear on the planet. Not only do we have your favorite brands like Klipsch speakers and SVS subwoofers, but audiophile greats from Bowers & Wilkins, Kef, NAD, Marantz, Cambridge, Mark Levinson, and plenty of vinyl and tube gear. Plus exotics you only see in the magazines. Stop by today and visit Audio Etc.'s crazy cool showroom and see and audition the best audio and video it has to offer. While you're in, check out our huge selection of pre-owned vintage gear. A great way to afford great gear otherwise out of reach, or revisit old classics. Audio Etc. Sound advice you can trust. Audio Etc. 551 Congress Park Drive at the corner of Paragon in Centerville, or call 434-9770.
Audio Etc.'s crazy cool showroom.
Tuning in to the high school football game, monitoring the incoming storm, catching your favorite talk show. These are just a few of the reasons more than 80 million Americans depend on AM radio. And did you know AM radio is the backbone of the emergency alert system, keeping the public safe in dangerous times, no matter what the reason? 1410 Wing AM is here to serve you. Visit wearebroadcasters.com to learn more and tell us how you depend on AM.
Need an online notary? We can help. Hi, this is Mike Foley, your Montgomery County Clerk of Courts. We can notarize your documents remotely at no charge to you. All you need is a smartphone or laptop. Visit courthouse2u.com for more info.
Attorney Joe Cordell. Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Dayton area attorneys. 2689 Commons Boulevard, Suite 100, Beaver Creek, Ohio, 45431.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at ooma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Save now on the garden essentials to brighten up your outdoor spaces. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement.
Dayton sports fans, for more local sports content, make sure to subscribe to Dayton's ESPN Radio YouTube channel. And don't miss the Miami Valley's only local sports talk show, The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 Wing AM.
I am a huge Pat McAfee fan. And this news came out just during the break. This comes from Joe Pompliano. He said, breaking news, Pat McAfee is walking away. How about this? Walking away from his $120 million deal with FanDuel.
Woo!
To join the mothership.
Oh, man.
The show is expected to remain on YouTube, and McAfee will bring his crew with him. He will earn more than $10 million per year at ESPN. So the details of the show that is expected to remain on YouTube. So it's going to remain on YouTube. It sounds like it's coming to, either way. It's going to be interesting to see how all that works. Look, I think this makes a lot of sense. I'm sure ESPN used the game day as leverage. He's a ratings. I mean, people, so many people, I mean, he like some people either hate him or you love him. There's no in between. Where are you with Pat McAfee?
I love him. It's funny, dude. It's different from everything that you hear on, regular radio stuff that you and I do, or the shows before and after us and everything like that. Is different. It's unique. It's super energetic. Tons of guests on there. Tons of different co-hosts that are on there with him. Obviously, you got AJ Hawk, who's basically a co-host with him. You got Pac-Man Jones, and then you have his other crew. And then you get the weekly guests from Aaron Rodgers and things of that nature. It's a super fun show.
So my favorite, and what he does too is like he just brings life to every show that he's a part of. There was the game day last year where he just was bluntly honest. It was so funny because you could tell he made everyone like, "Ooh, I don't know if you could say that." But when he goes, "Hey, look, the network," because he goes, there was a bunch of old whites on social media that did not like him. And he just kept bringing that up, and I'm dying laughing every single time. He goes, apparently I'm just too energetic for old whites. That's what he kept saying over and over. And I just want an excuse to say old whites on the show and get away with it. So, but yeah, apparently old whites, that's number 3, don't like Pat McAfee. So is that the old white spell? That's 4. Ring it again. There you go. But no, we don't know all the details of how the show is going to cross over to ESPN. I don't know how, they swear a lot.
Yeah.
And we hate swearing.
And that's Disney.
Yeah.
That's Disney, man.
Yeah. I met McAfee years ago in New York, and it was at a sports radio summit, and everyone's asking all nerdy radio questions and all this stuff. And I'm like, hey, I know this cat's a big wrestling fan. Wrestling. So we literally talked wrestling. I kept asking him wrestling questions, and he was like really excited about that. So after, we just hung out at the hotel bar and just drank the rest of the night after the sports game. It was like the coolest experience ever. I did not plan it. It was cool. But then he became part of SmackDown a little bit later. I'm going to SummerSlam in Detroit.
You are
in August.
August.
He better
5th.
be there. He better be there.
Oh, you can win tickets to SummerSlam on the website right now. Don't forget about that.
There you go. Wingam.com. Go register. SummerSlam Detroit, Ford Field, 80,000 plus strong. Will Kev Nash be in attendance? No.
Oh, yeah. And also, one lucky winner will get premium seats. So, you'll be on the floor. Maybe you get some sweat thrown on you.
Do I get premium seats?
No, you don't.
It's unfortunate.
You're in the way. You're so far in the back, you're in the parking lot, yo.
I'll make my way up. I'll find a way. I'll find a way. He's part of the network now. I'll just reach out to him. How about that?
Hey, man.
Yeah. Hey, remember me way up here? You remember? No? All right, cool.
Big Kev's going as well.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. That'll be a good time. But I'm really excited about Pat McAfee's crossover with ESPN now. So there's that.
Since we're talking wrestling, our guy, TJ Smooth.
Yeah, I don't know first of all, TJ, if you're watching, I don't know why I laughed like that. He got
really foul, dude.
Because I really don't know why. He made a joke about it on social media.
So it's cool.
But holy moly. Yeah, it's fake, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Look at TJ's face right now and tell me it's fake.
Absolutely, man. I know we got a lot of crossover listeners from Hot 102.9 and Wing AM. So our guy TJ Smooth used to host nights on Hot. He's an amateur wrestler. Apparently, no longer an amateur. He is a professional because he sustained some major injuries. I was reading an article had some brain bleeding, had the black eye situation, broke his wrist. He's getting surgery. He's supposed to be DJing some events in Dayton upcoming very soon. Don't know how he's going to do that with a broken wrist, but I talked to him. He's doing a lot better. He got released from the hospital, has a little GoFundMe page going up right now. So, man, if you can donate a couple dollars to my guy, TJ Smooth, please do so.
And that's how you sound compassionate right there. Well, I'm laughing. I wasn't laughing at you, TJ. You know I love you, so we're good. We're good. But it's just because you caught me off guard. I didn't know that's where you were going to go with that. I was just
So I open up Instagram as I'm prone to do. And the first picture I see is him in his black eye. And I'm like, what happened to him? So I hit him up immediately like, yo, what happened? And a couple hours go by. I was like, oh, man, I was knocked out. I was like, I see what happened. And he told me everything that went wrong or / right. I was like, did it look cool? He was like, I don't know. I haven't seen the footage yet.
But shout out Mr. Smooth. That's for sure. But
Smooth take over.
Anyways, Kinner and Kev, we are back. Kev was off a few days last week, took an extended weekend for Mother's Day, of course, left me by myself, and what you got is what you got. So
what happened? Anything cool
nothing
happen?
Cool happened. Nothing cool happened. That's why, could have used something like the Jamar Chase comment here. You're lucky. Okay. I'm lucky. You guys are lucky Kev's here to keep me, level. Otherwise, I would have had some fun with this while you were out, but nonetheless. So we open up the show. If you're just joining us, by the way, Kinner and Kev live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Joe Burrow, a lot of Cincinnati Bengals players, at camp kind of addressing the media for the first time, especially after the draft. And of course, the big thing now, the Bengals are at the point where they drafted really well, and all the players that they drafted really well, it's like a double-edged sword. It's tough to draft. As we talk about all the time, we talk about these guys, oh, man, that's a great get for them. That's a huge get for them. Well, we don't know until we know. Joe Burrow's been great. Jamar Chase has been great. T's been great. I mean, all these guys that they drafted have been great. But the problem is now everyone's due up for a major payday all within a year, 2 years of one another. And it impacts the next deal. It impacted the previous deal. It impacts current deals. And now we're just kind of sitting and waiting to see which domino is going to fall first, T, Jamar, or Burrow. Jamar's a long shot. I think the order is T, Burrow, Chase, right? Like, I don't think a year from now we'll be talking about this Burrow contract. And if we are, that's a huge problem for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Definitely, because as we all know, we talked about it for ad nauseum. The longer you wait, the more you pay. So you're better off getting that done sooner rather than later. But I still think that Herbert's deal is going to get done before Burrow's. I don't think Burrow's get his deal done until like August.
Yeah, I mean, right. And I think it would be that confidence that they need, kind of not confidence, but I think there'll be that good, like that news that drops like heading into the season, and then off you go. But so Jamar Chase, he was asked today in the media scrum, and you're going to hear music in the background. Apparently the Bengals aren't used to having media around. They never turn the music down. So you'll hear music in the background.
Copyright.
Possibly. So he was asked about his thoughts on the contract negotiation with Joe Burrow and how that potentially impacts him and T. Higgins and keeping the core together. Here is Jamar Chase.
It means he wants to win. You know what he has to do to win, and he wants to win. He's a winning guy. He's not a quarterback that's always interested in money and all that other stuff. He just wants to win, and that's the good thing about Joe.
So he was set up by saying, when you hear Joe Burrow, because I think when I heard that previous quote from Burrow talking about the fact that, it's a vocal point in the negotiation of how they're going to keep everyone, people heard that and said, oh, he's going to take less money to keep them. I didn't hear it. Real quick, did you hear it that way, that he's going to take less money?
I didn't hear that he was going to take less money. I just heard that, like, all right, he's willing to do things a slightly different. So, okay, so if he takes less, it's not going to be, I don't think at least it's going to be millions upon millions, like $20 million less. I don't think that is going to be the case with him, but like trim it down a little bit so somebody else can get some extra money so they can stick around. I have no problem with that. But let me ask you, what if he does do the unthinkable? What if he does pull a Tom Brady?
I'll hate it.
Like if he really pulls the Tom Brady though, like, is it cancel Christmas for everybody if he pulls a Tom Brady and say, yeah, pay me $25 million a year?
Put it this way, this idea that Deshaun, that the league hates Deshaun because he got that fully guaranteed deal, I think players turn on Burrow. I don't think Burrow will be allowed to do that. Will the players?
Tom Brady did it for 20 years.
That's Tom Brady, though. Now, keep in mind, there's a difference between Tom Brady and Joe Burrow. Yes, all the Super Bowl rings. But keep in mind, it was easier to take less gradually because, like, Joe Burrow's a superstar right off the bat. Like, Tom Brady was. I know he got the Super Bowl win, but if you remember back to that, he won it. It was a great storyline, just like if Brock Purdy would have won it with the Niners. Like, it was but Brock Purdy, he wins a Super Bowl with the Niners, and he's up for a contract in a couple years. He's not going to get max dollar unless all of a sudden he develops into that. But Tom Brady didn't become that Tom Brady figure until maybe a couple years later, once they got back when they beat the Panthers and everything in that Super Bowl. It took a little, So I guess my point is, Burrow and Tom Brady, they're not on the same. Their careers aren't the same trajectory. Tom Brady and the Patriots winning that Super Bowl was a great storyline, and Tom Brady played well in that. But Tom Brady wasn't viewed as the way Joe Burrow is right now. Joe Burrow still has a whole career ahead of him to lay down this legacy, but he's a superstar already right now. Tom Brady, so when Tom Brady didn't get paid max dollar his first contract go, it wasn't because, he was taking less money up front. It's because he wasn't being viewed as one of the elite quarterbacks. He didn't become that elite. People didn't view him, Kev, if you remember to that Randy Moss year. Mm-hmm. That's when his numbers really took off. And then
he still took less.
Yeah. And he took less at that time. But the point was, took less. I don't know, man. It's just the market's so much different now. I mean, Joe Burrow's going to take 10, 15 mil less than the next guy. I guess let me ask you, what is considered a major Tom Brady?
$10 million would be a ton of money for him to leave on the table. And that'd be a ton of money to leave on the table. And that will enable the Cincinnati Bengals to do a lot of different things. If, keep a guy on defense, keep the receivers, do a ton. But like, I don't know, man. Like, I do believe this is starting to get some traction that maybe he doesn't, because of the things that Jamar Chase has been saying, that going back to the Super Bowl, even though probably shouldn't be talking about other people's money. No, not even probably. Should not be talking about other people's money. And now the comments from Joe Burrow. Do I believe it? No. Do I think that he's going to take, $10 to $15 million less a season? I find that very hard to believe. But, I mean, they're starting to make me think about it. I can say that because I can honestly say when I first heard it, I laughed at it. Like, come on, man. The career of an NFL quarterback, or I know Tom Brady played into his 40s, and, Aaron Rodgers is going to play into his 40s, but, like, those are anomalies, man. Like, that doesn't happen all the time. Like, your career could end on any play. This is the NFL. So you have to get as much money out of it as humanly possible. But I can honestly understand a little bit where people are coming from, where they say he might take less. Now, the people that say guarantee's going to take less, I think, are foolish. But, like, hey, man, some of these comments that are coming out, and I mean, if he does do the unthinkable and play for, I don't know, Stafford, when he signed with the Rams, like, he took a sweetheart deal for the Rams. So, like, it's not far-fetched that it can't happen. Granted, his situation was a lot different from Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow was in the situation where this is his first contract. With Stafford, that was like his second or third contract. So
he also isn't Stafford now. I mean, is this even then? I still don't know what Stafford's value would be now, but I also don't think he had the leverage to go asking for market money at that time. Like, it was a big deal, it was a big trade. I think the value of him was the return of, with what they sent over for him and stuff like that. And he signed a major extension, but it wasn't top dollar like some of the other quarterbacks. But if Joe Burrow takes it, good for him. I'll deal with that problem later. But at the same time,
I hope not neither. Goodness gracious.
But here's the problem. So listen to Jamar Chase again, and we'll dissect again. The music in the background makes it a little difficult.
It means he wants to win. You know what he has to do to win, and he wants to win. He's a winning guy. He's not a quarterback that's always interested in money and all that other stuff. He just wants to win, and that's the good thing about Joe.
See, if I'm Joe Burrow, I'm like, be quiet. Stop talking.
Right.
Stop talking. First of all, he wants to win. Quarterbacks who get paid, it's not that they don't want to win. That's a very silly concept. That this idea that any quarterback that gets paid, when Patrick Mahomes, coming off of a Super Bowl, by the way, became the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, did he not want to win? Jalen Hurts, he was briefly the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Did he not want to win? So Jamar Chase, that's kind of a really dumb comment. It's really stupid. Like, he wants to win. That's why it just means he wants to win. No, it doesn't. And when he does come out and get paid $55 million a year, so can I turn it and flip it and say, he must not want to win then? He must have changed his mind. He must have wanted to be a loser and get paid $55 million a year. No, that's a silly take. And Jamar Chase, are you going to take less money, dude? Are you going to I'm curious. Is Jamar Chase going to take less money? Is he going to want to prove to be a winner? Is he going to take, 20 mil instead of 30 or 28? Why does Joe Burrow have to be the guy to eat money so that everyone else can go make theirs? That's ridiculous. So, Jamar, why don't you comment on what you're willing to do? What Jamar Chase should be doing is saying, you know what? We all want to stay together. I think it's important that we're all talking about what we all need to do to stay together. All I hear from selfish Jamar Chase is, Joe Burrow knows he wants to keep us all together. He's not chasing money. I'm chasing money. I'm Jamar chasing money. He wants the money. Joe Burrow doesn't want the money. You're going to be selfish, bro. That's what you're going to do. You're going to chase the money while your boy Burrow takes less. That's silly. That's dumb. That's selfish. But hey, that's Jamar Chase. So congratulations. You got a diva quarterback now who's more out. He's going to go after every dime that's coming to him, but he's going to demand that his quarterback take less. Yeah, nice job. Nice job. 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. Kevin, I will be right back.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Get in zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. Changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Valvoline Advanced can help your engine get more miles. Right now, buy a 5-quart jug and get a free STP Extended Life Oil Filter. That's right, free. Get started on your next job today with the parts you need, when you need them, at AutoZone or AutoZone.com. Get in zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
Imagine you're looking at a balancing scale with everything you do for other people on one side and everything you do for yourself on the other side. If it isn't balanced, maybe it's time to spend a little more time on you. And therapy is a great place to start. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist online who can help you find that balance and stick to it. Visit BetterHelp.com/score to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/score.
For powerful HP tech your business can count on Staples. Staples has great prices on a full range of HP printers, PCs, laptops, and monitors. And now through May 27th, score an extra $50 off all HP laptops regularly priced $599.99 and above with the Staples Connect app. Plus, this week only, the HP OfficeJet 9015E wireless color inkjet printer is $70 off. For the best deals on the best HP tech for your small business, shop Staples. In-store only. Excludes Chromebooks and clearance.
Do you or any of your family members, neighbors, or friends own a property that you just want to be done with it? If so, call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you to take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. Call 614-470-2000. That's 614-470-2000.
Make sure that your home's heating and cooling system is being cared for by your local Lennox Premier dealer, William Brockman & Sons Heating and Air Conditioning. They're offering special saving opportunities on a new Lennox system. So call them today at 937-222-8638 or visit online at DaytonHeatingandCooling.com to learn more. Dealer license number, Ohio license number 14911.
If you haven't been to Chevrolet of Troy, you have to stop in today. Selection has never been better with over 300 new and pre-owned vehicles available, in stock and ready to go. It's the best in the region. We always accept employee and supplier pricing, and we make financing easy. Customer service is our top priority because we care about you. With thousands off MSRP, a full-service, state-of-the-art dealership, and huge selection, make Chevrolet of Troy your first choice. 1375 South Market Street and online at ChevroletofTroy.com.
Save big money on all lawn care products with 11% off everything at Menards. Get a clean edge around gardens and flower beds with Master Gardener Pro Lawn Edging. It's easy to install and blocks the spreading of grass and weeds. A 40-foot roll of Master Gardener Lawn Edging is $14.99 after 11% rebate at Menards. Good through May 21st. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards. Life is short, and if we spend our time suffering with pain and it takes away our joy, that's not a very good way to live.
He's right. It's hard to be happy when you're in constant pain. QC Kinetics patient Chad admits the chronic pain in his knee really robbed his quality of life.
When I was going to the traditional doctor and getting the pain pills, my smile wasn't as big as it usually is. Going to my high school reunion on crutches, it was awful.
But then Chad visited QC Kinetics. He experienced the real power behind natural regenerative treatments. Using healing properties from his own body, QC Kinetics was able to restore and repair damaged tissue, finally giving Chad lasting relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime.
And I'm feeling on top of the world because of QC Kinetics.
Learn how advanced regenerative medicine can help your body heal itself at QC Kinetics. Call now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325. 937-936-0325.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
I think my battery's dead.
With free battery testing and charging, AutoZone is here to help.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
What if I need a new one?
We have the right batteries right here at America's #1 battery destination.
Get in zone,
And what if I don't know how to connect it?
No problem. We have a how-to for you at AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll
NBA, and this is maybe not only this is the NBA, and this is prospect in the NBA's history, maybe the greatest prospect in the history of team sports.
Wow.
Football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Byers Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash back with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. So if you're just joining us, last thing on this contract talk, and then we're going to advance over to something else. But Jamar Chase had this to say regarding the talk of Joe Burrow potentially taking less money.
It means he wants to win. You know what he has to do to win, and he wants to win. He's a winning guy. He's not a quarterback that's always interested in money and all that other stuff. He just wants to win, and that's the thing about Joe.
I get it. Some of these things are like you say these things to kind of prop up your teammates and all this stuff. But this idea, Kev, that quarterbacks who get paid have any less desire of winning than a quarterback who takes less money to win.
Right.
I think that's absolutely ridiculous. And this is coming from a guy that used to label players selfish if they would take every dollar coming to them. And I think it's just one of those things where, and you've kind of changed my mind. It's not, and Jason Fitz has been on the show before. It is not up to Joe Burrow to find a way to keep T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. It is not up to Joe Burrow. It's up, it's up to ownership. It's up to the general manager. If Duke Tobin is this savant that all you pretend that he is, it's his job to figure it out. And honestly, at the end of the day, if Joe Burrow takes less money, maybe he sees the reality of there's not an example out there of any team keeping two max paid wide receivers and a max paid quarterback. It doesn't exist. They would be the first to ever do it. And technically they wouldn't be the first to ever do it because that means you wouldn't have a max paid quarterback. The problem I have with Jamar Chase on this is you keep putting the pressure on. If I'm Burrow, I'm like, shut up. You keep putting pressure on me now that if I do take this $55 million a year, so now I don't care about winning.
Right.
Now all of a sudden I care about winning. Now I'm a loser because I went after the money and all this stuff. That's why Jamar just needs to stop talking. I have no clue why has anyone with that organization said, maybe just dial up. We don't need to be like, if you feel that way, or if you have inside info because of your conversation is fine, but let's not go there because, and I'm 90% sure Joe Burrow's 10% is a big number, by the way, that he takes less money. And that's annoying because there's a good chance he might, but if he does take a full contract, Kev, Jamar Chase makes him look selfish now. Now he makes, I thought he cared about winning. I thought he cared about this. And the other question I have is Jamar Chase going to take less money?
Right.
Why is it up to Burrow to take less money so that you could take every dollar coming to you? I don't like that. I don't like Jamar talking like this. I don't like Jamar Chase right now. Just stop talking. Stop talking, which is what a lot of Bengals fans are saying about me at the moment.
Stop talking about other people's money, man. If there's tons of ways to get your point across about someone else's contract. Much how a lot of the Cincinnati Bengals were talking about Jesse Bates last year. Like, hey, we want to keep him. We love him. We want to be a part of his team, yada, yada, yada. You know, the normal cliche talking points. You could say, we know Joe Burrow wants to win. We want him to be our quarterback. He wants me here. He wants T. Higgins here. We're trying to win. We're trying to win it now. Like, those are the type of things that you would be okay on saying. But like this constant talk about he wants to win. He knows what he has to do to keep his players to win. Like that segment right there is the things that irk me about it, because you're talking about another person's money. And for all the people out there, you have coworkers. Are you rooting for them to get their money just like you're rooting for yourself to get your money? Or are you kind of like, just keep it to yourself? Either one is perfectly fine.
I'm Tyler Boyd.
Exactly. But like this constant pressure of Joe Burrow, not only from the fan base expecting him to take less to keep all the guys, but now you're kind of getting it from a player on your own team. You're right. Just keep it to yourself. Like, hey, we'll worry about that when we worry about it. We're going to get this handled. We're going to try to all be here. Like, it is what it is. You're going to get constantly peppered with these questions, but you got to be more tactful about the way you answer the question. And if you just want to say no comment, then say no comment. Like, but you were right. It is going to be a pressure to put on Joe Burrow about taking less money. And what is less money? Like, all right, he takes 50. Are people going to be satisfied with that? Because they'll say, okay, he took less, but is it enough less to keep player X, Y, and Z on the team? Like, because when I start hearing like, oh, he's about to take less, I'm thinking 40, 45. Like, that's a substantial amount of money in order to keep a lot of other players. So I'm not super blown away if he takes 50 as opposed to 55. Like, that'll keep somebody on defense. Definitely not enough to keep those both wide receivers. Now, 40, you're keeping both wide receivers. You're bringing in talent if you take 40. And I mean, do I think that's what's going to happen? I doubt it. Have you seen the house that he's building?
It's very valid. See, now I'm back on the other side. Good for you, Kev. Starting to doubt it, you know?
I mean, I still don't believe that's what he's going to do. Like, from Cincinnati Bengals fans, how much do you think that people that think he's going to take a discount, how much do you think he's really going to sign for? Because that's, I mean, it's the average salary now for a quarterback, for a top 10 quarterback, is $55 million. For a quality starting quarterback is 40 to 45. So that's like the Dax, that's the Daniel.
And that's still too high.
that's Dak, that's Kirk Cousins. So you think Burrow is going to take a Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott type of contract? I don't think so.
And Dak taking every dollar he can. Does that mean he didn't care about winning? Lamar Jackson fought. I mean, just got beat up in the media. I mean, he didn't do anything, but like, his mom got put in a position where she was being drugged through the mud because of, she doesn't know what she's doing and all this stuff. Like, and it's like, he don't care about winning because he went through all that to get paid and all that. No, I think that's just wrong. To sum up, I think Jamar Chase is trying to do the right thing by hyping up his guy. That's his guy.
Yeah.
I don't think he realizes the pressure he's putting on Burrow. I don't think he realizes how bad he's about to make Burrow look if Burrow ultimately
65
takes it. Because at the end of the day, like, at the end of the day, there are a lot of fans who are hanging on every word Jamar Chase is saying. And that's why social media blew up today and said, oh my God, he's going to take less money. So now fans and by the way, if Burrow takes $55 million, if Jamar Chase doesn't say this, Joe Burrow's just doing what all of the quarterbacks do. Bengals fans don't bat an eye. Okay, off we go. But now I think you risk turning some of not all of them. Joe Burrow, it'd take a lot for fans to turn on Burrow. But there will be a pocket of fans who, because of Jamar Chase buying into this rhetoric, that, oh man, he's selfish. Based on what Jamar Chase said, now you're selfish because you took on them. You don't care about winning and blah, 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 which I totally disagree with. Burrow takes $55 million. As much as I like to take shots, the guy wants to win. Of course he wants to win. This guy's name is Eddie Spaghetti. I don't know why his name is Eddie Spaghetti, but it's on YouTube. Eddie Spaghetti with Fred Durst at Sunico or whatever is his profile picture. So lots going on here.
So is this a real question, or is this a fake person? This is a bot.
No idea. They're gonna blame me for this question. They're gonna blame me and say it's my burner, but nonetheless. Eddie Spaghetti on YouTube says, I just don't understand that if Burrow is so supremely confident in himself, why does he feel so pressed to get his guys paid? Logic would be let him build up drafted wide receivers while team allocates money to the defense. I think two-part there. You want to play with your guys. Jamar Chase won a national championship. He, all that stuff. And T, obviously, he was drafted with T in the same draft. They're super close. All these quarterbacks want to play with their guys. I don't think it's a lack of confidence that he wants to. I mean, if all these quarterbacks have their choice of who they want to play with them. So Eddie Spaghetti, I'm going to argue with my burner account here. I disagree with that. But at the same time, Joe Burrow should have the confidence of, like Patrick Mahomes. You get rid of Tyreek Hill, no biggie. Now you could say, okay, yeah, you had Travis Kelce, but you get rid of T. Higgins, you still have Jamar Chase.
Right.
You're going to keep one of the two. My thing is, I don't think he's afraid of not having them. I think he just knows how great those three can be. I just think there'd be more logic behind it if they'd won a Super Bowl with the three already, and they haven't. So
yeah, Eddie Spaghetti. I'm totally on the other side. Look,
we love how we keep calling him Eddie Spaghetti. You said it so serious.
They got a sure thing going. You draft somebody in the first round, you have no idea what they're going to be. You got two sure things with you. You should be trying to keep them. You got two short, especially from his perspective. Yep. He's the player. He's not the GM. He's not the owner. It's not his money that's being allocated to him. He's going to get their money. He wants them to get their money as well. I'm sure everybody has close friends at their job that they want to see them succeed and get paid as well. Because guess what? It ain't my money. Hey, man, it's their money. It's their job to figure it out. It's not my job to do that. My job is to throw them the ball, and it's their job to catch it. That's my job. And he does it well. They do it very well. Keep the band together. Why not?
Yeah. And if these comments from Jamar are strange because Jamar's getting paid no matter what. Burrow taking $60 million a year won't impact Jamar taking $30 a year. That's why I'm shocked that it's him doing all this talking. I would expect this from T. T would almost be the odd man out because, like, hey, if they keep me, this is a big deal if they keep me because they had to work to keep me. In fact, they're keeping me at the expense of defense. They're keeping me at the expense of an offensive lineman. Like, T should be the one doing the talking, and he's just checking out. He's like, hey, I want to be here. My agent's doing his thing. I'm doing mine. He's showing up. I give T a lot of credit. He's showing up to camps. He's doing his thing. So last thing on that, but let's go to the phones. 518-1410. Is this Jesse? Jesse, you're up, sir.
Hey, I heard you guys were looking for old whites to call in. So,
ring the bell. Ring the old whites bell. There we go. All right, what you got?
Well,
I can see the emails now.
From old whites.
I'm glad I got you laughing now because I'm sure in the next 30 seconds I'm going to piss you off.
No, real quick.
But
You want to know what I told Kev before we came back? I said, I'm not going to let him win. I'm not going to let him win. I'm not going to let him win. So bring it.
Well, let's do it. Well, when you talk about the Joe Burrow comment and, you know, what you play, you seem to immediately say, like, well, stupid Bengals fans hear that he's going to take less money. What I don't understand is how is that different than a non-Bengals fan like yourself immediately hearing the same thing? Like, if I was a neutral fan, not a fan of the Bengals, and I heard what Joe Burrow said, I would be leaning toward, like, you know what? This dude might actually take less money. I don't understand how just being a Bengals fan to hear what he said sounds stupid when you're a non-Bengals fan and somehow, and I don't know how you're even completely coming up with your argument that there's no possibility that he will, but you're doing the same thing that stupid Bengals fans are doing by thinking one way, you're thinking the opposite.
First of all, as much as look, I don't think I said stupid Bengals fans. When did I say stupid Bengals fans? Not on the air.
Every other day, you usually do.
Not on the air.
You've definitely called us stupid Bengals fans all the time.
Not on the air.
Oh, but really?
I said crybaby Bengals fans.
That's one of them.
Continue crying. What were you saying?
I was waiting for your retort. I thought maybe you could explain how it's different that Bengals fans feel one way and that non-Bengals fans feel another way. Why are we so different for feeling this way? And it seems like you're really forcing to think that Joe Burrow is not going to do this.
It's because can you find an example of a quarterback that doesn't have a billionaire supermodel wife that takes a pay cut? Nobody.
I can't find an example of somebody that's just like Joe Burrow. You don't know what he's going to do. He's done a lot of things that's different than anybody else.
There's a lot of quarterbacks that don't have a Super Bowl. What does that mean?
What does that mean is that you don't know what this guy's going to do. You just
all you don't either.
do is just hate on Bengals fans.
I'm not. This isn't hating on Bengals fans, dude. Is Kev hating on Bengals fans because he says it calmer than me? But Kev and I are saying ultimately close to the same thing, and you're not getting your panties in a wad with Kev.
But because I Kev's cool, I would never get my panties in a wad.
So
with Kev.
this is personal, then. It's not what I'm saying; it's who's saying it. Kev just said who.
Yeah, but okay. I'm hoping that he takes less money, and you're hoping that he don't, and screws the Bengals chances to sign anybody else.
That he doesn't.
I'm just wondering how's that different for us to feel that way and you feel that way.
I'm not hoping that he doesn't. That doesn't make sense.
So let me ask you this, Jesse. Let me ask you this real quick.
Yeah.
So, what you think? Do you think he's going to take less? I guess that should be my first question.
I think he's going to take less enough to keep Jamar Chase, and if you lose T. Higgins, okay, he's way more replaceable. But I think he will take less to make sure Jamar Chase is there. If you lose T, that's way more replaceable than Jamar Chase. That's what I think.
I don't think he has to take less to keep one of them. I think he has to take less to keep both of them. I think he can get his $55 million a year, and Chase can still get his $28 to $32 million a year. It'll be a lot, but I still think it can work. So what do you think about the Bengals fans that think he's going to go down to the 40s and 45s? Do you think that's laughable, or do you think that's feasible?
I would say it's a little laughable, yes. I think he's going to do just enough to make sure he keeps his one buddy and,
so
another
50.
wide receiver. We just drafted 2, so I think T. Higgins is a little more replaceable. He's going to make sure Jamar Chase ain't going nowhere.
So you're thinking 50?
I would say in that area. There's going to be plenty of incentives and signing bonuses involved too. He's not going to be hurting. He's going to make sure Jamar Chase ain't going nowhere, and that would be how I feel about that.
If he truly wants to keep both, and he's trying to make sure they get both their money between the 28 and the 32 or whatever, how much the dudes are going to pay. He's going to have to take about 45 to 40 to make sure he's able to quote unquote keep them. And that seems a little too far fetched for me. So what do you think about Jamar Chase's comments constantly talking about Joe Burrow knows what he has to do to win. He wants to win. He's a winner. He knows what he has to do to keep, the playmakers around him, all that conversation dating all the way back to the Super Bowl, and then today's comments.
Well, unlike Kenner stretching every Bengals comment into a bad thing, I think there was nothing wrong with what he said. I think him and Burrow have their own conversations,
Kevin
and what he puts
too.
out.
Came out of him.
What I'm saying is, I didn't see anything wrong in what he said. Like he knows it's going to get worked out. He knows he's going to be with Joe Burrow for years. But it doesn't really matter what he says to everybody else. The fan base ain't going nowhere. We're happy. Like what he says to the media right now ain't messing nothing up. I think you're just kind of reaching to kind of push Bengals fans.
I don't, because I get why you would like to think that, but I'm just saying, like, he says that when he says things like, well, Joe Burrow, it proves that he's a winner, that my quarterback doesn't care about money. But then if he becomes the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, and by the way, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I have no problem with that. All I'm saying is when he says that, he is putting it out there that the perception is so now Joe Burrow, who you said was going to take less because he doesn't care about money, all of a sudden cares about money, and now all of a sudden is a loser because a winner would take less money. I don't know how you could hear that and say that could not potentially set up problems if he does take the full contract.
Well, what do you think he's going to say? My best friend's a selfish ass, and I'm going to be gone in 2 years?
What did T. Higgins say? T. Higgins was smart enough to figure it out and not say anything that would put his quarterback in a potential situation where media like me and others can attack it. And by the way,
ACC education.
Yeah, maybe he actually went to school and played school. I don't know.
I don't think he said anything as bad as what you're making it out to be. They probably talk every day. Do you think Joe Burrow really cares about what Jamar Chase said? Really? At all?
Apparently not. Apparently not.
So let me ask you this then, Jesse, because I have a problem with it as well. I don't think that dudes should be talking about other dudes' money unless it's in the positive, because that does create friction in the locker room. We saw this happen with Baker and Duke Johnson. We saw this happen with Terrell Owens and Donovan McNabb. Like, when you start talking about other dudes' money and talking about like, oh, they're taking less, dudes get irritated about that. And not only the guy that you're talking about, his segment group. I mean, you think about what happened with the Eagles, you had Hugh Douglas from Central State allegedly beating up Donovan McNabb because he was talking about Terrell Owens' money. Like, that stuff can cause friction. My perspective is Jamar Chase shouldn't be talking about nobody's money but his own. Because those are the ones that he can't handle.
Terrell Owens has made great decisions his whole career. I understand all that. And I have no clue how you could even begin to compare Baker and Duke to Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase.
No. I'm just saying, this is how it starts. This is how it starts. You start talking about other people's money, and then it starts to snowball out of control. You may have had some good intentions, but ultimately it still comes back to you talking about someone else's money. Would you go around the place where you work talking about a coworker like, oh man, John, he makes 3 times as much as I do. That's bogus. Yada, yada, yada. Like, and then the other employees find out, I'm like, yeah, John sucks. He's never here. He's always late. How you start doing that? And then John's friends start hearing that.
I would do that anytime for somebody that's making more money than me and they do half the effort. Yeah, I don't damn right I would.
Maybe you should work here.
But maybe Joe Burrow is just different. I mean, just because that's happened before doesn't mean it's going to happen this time, is all I'm saying.
True. You're right. So what's a fair number? What do you think a fair number is?
I can't do all that. I'm not an accountant. I just you ain't putting me into that pigeonhole. I'm just saying.
I'm trying to get you on the Jamar Chase pigeonhole.
He gonna take enough to keep them both, and there may be a casualty out of that. That's what I believe. I don't know. That's what I think.
Fair enough.
All right, Jesse.
Y'all fellas have a good night.
You as well.
Later, Jesse.
How come you say the same damn thing as me and I get beat up on? It's ridiculous.
Burrow had my ass.
Oh, I wonder why.
It's Mahomes' house.
So, in all seriousness, that was on accident hitting that, but I don't feel bad about it. I didn't mean to hit that key.
All right, cap or no cap? Cap or no cap? Is Kenner lying?
Oh, I ain't lied. I didn't know I need to hit it, but I enjoyed it. There's that. That's shut up. Adios. We'll be right back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Hello there. My name is Seychelle, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is the punch of flavors that's unlike any other. You get the crispy tenderness of the chicken and that hint of sourness from the pickles. Ta-da!
Hey, I'm Juan, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is you're going to get chicken that's crispy, golden, and juicy. This is the gold standard of chicken sandwiches.
Order the original Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real customers paid for their testimonials.
A lot of new enrollments, huh? Braylon, Brayden.
Monique's daycare is crawling with new arrivals.
Hey, sweetie, are you hungry?
She needs more early childhood educators.
Did your socks slip off again?
And a nap.
Hey there, little guy. Okay. Shh. Whoa.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
How long does it take to tackle a home project? With Angie, you could cross it off your list before this ad is over. Just tell us what you need, indoor or outdoor, repair or redesign, and we handle the rest, sending a top pro to get it done. You don't have to lift a finger, except to tap the screen or click the mouse. Plus, Angie is free to use. So bring us your next home project, and we'll bring it home. Download the app or go to Angie.com, that's ANGI.com, to get started.
When they're investigating, we can't stop watching. This month on BritBox, sit back, relax, and enjoy watching the detectives. Discover Britain's most bingeable mysteries, including the brand new season of Grace, the hit series based on the books by best-selling author Peter James. Unwind with the detectives you could watch all night long. Stream them all now exclusively on BritBox. Endlessly intriguing. Start your free trial at BritBox.com.
Dr. Rick here. Another sign you're becoming your parents is getting particular about details that don't matter.
The craziest thing happened when we got tacos the other day. Was it Wednesday or Thursday we got tacos? I know it wasn't Tuesday because that's when I went to my hairdresser. Shoot, what day was it?
See how we all lost interest there?
Progressive can't help you from becoming your parents, but we can help you compare rates on home insurance with Home Quote Explorer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
O'Reilly. Make your tires shine with superior coverall tire shine at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Our professional parts people can help you choose the right cleaning supplies for your vehicle. Finish any great detail job with superior coverall tire shine. Right now, get 2 bottles for just $18. See store for details. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Save now on the garden essentials to brighten up your outdoor spaces. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement.
All right, Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash back with you here on 1410 Wing AM. We are Dayton's ESPN radio station. We are also Dayton's ESPN radio and Cincinnati Reds radio home here in the Miami Valley. So we welcome everyone back. I'm Justin Kinner. I had crumbs in my beard.
Oh.
Right on camera, too. That was awesome.
Cool guy problem.
All 4 people saw it. So embarrassing. But we welcome you back. Last thing on the Browns NFL front here, and then we're going to talk some NBA coming up. Interesting comment. So a theory from ESPN's Jason Fitz, who's a regular on the show during the NFL season, he had an interesting comment and theory on LeBron James in the Western Conference Finals and just the duration of the Lakers in the playoffs. I have that coming up. And then Adrian Wojnarowski,
Woj bomb.
Woj bomb, not really breaking news, but a very hot take. Like this show, there's lots of hot takes. Sometimes I boil my takes. He had a hot take that has the internet kind of stirring a little bit. So we'll get to that. It involves the NBA draft lottery tonight. So we'll talk about that coming up here in a little bit. Za'Darius Smith kind of shocked everybody on Friday night. The Cleveland Browns roster is full. Can you hear it? Is it fine?
A little echo. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what it is either. You hear me, I hear you.
Yeah. You hear it?
Yep. I don't hear the echo, no.
Okay. No problem. I'm good.
Sorry. Yeah. So Za'Darius Smith, Friday night, kind of surprised. Really, it's not really about the Browns. It's NFL fans in general. That kind of shocked a little bit a lot of people out there. We know what the Browns have done defensively to kind of revamp that defensive line. And now you have two guys, like since 2019, there are 5 guys that have had 10-plus sack seasons since 2019, and now the Browns have 2 of them. I mean, and Myles Garrett and Za'Darius Smith. I mean, this was a huge addition and a big deal for, last year. I know on paper, and look, the Browns are winning the offseason again. Okay, whatever. I don't know why that's a bad thing. When people make fun, Kev, of the Browns for winning the offseason, I'm like, you got to, but that's part of the puzzle.
Right.
Yes, it may not, every time they've had big off seasons, over the last couple, it hasn't led to the ultimate goal of getting to the playoffs and ultimately making a Super Bowl run. But to sit there and say to do nothing in the offseason and then hope to accomplish it, I'd rather at least you have to start somewhere. So all the moves that the Browns have made, yes, if we get to the regular season and things don't happen the way they're supposed to, heads will roll. We obviously know that. But I'm not going to sit here and deal with people poking fun at the Browns saying, oh, typical, another big offseason. This is a huge offseason addition. I'd be saying if the Bengals added him, if the Steelers added him. This is a huge addition for a roster that I thought was pretty full. In fact, they had to move some guys to be able to make room for him, cap space wise and roster size wise. So this was a big deal, Kev. And, the Cleveland Browns, they're kind of going all in. They just basically swapped some picks with Minnesota to get Za'Darius Smith. And on top of that, they kind of looked at this entire thing and said, okay, look at the teams. If Bengals fans want to take credit for why these moves are happening, it's not really Joe Burrow. It's the quarterback carousel in the AFC is why. To beat Patrick Mahomes, you have to find a way to get to him. His offensive line is going to be weaker this year. The Bengals are responsible for that. They take Orlando Brown Jr., right? The best chance to beat Patrick Mahomes is to get to the quarterback. The best chance, Tom Brady's no longer in the league, but the best chance you had at beating Brady to make him look human was to get to Tom Brady. The best way to get to beat the Bengals is to get to Joe Burrow. And we've seen that. That's why they lost in the Super Bowl. They got to him too many times. They didn't give him enough time to throw. They lost in the AFC Championship game last year because they couldn't keep him upright, didn't have enough time to throw, and just got hit and hit hard. And now the Browns have a top 5 pass rush right now, as long as these two stay healthy, and Myles Garrett and Za'Darius Smith. And there's no, outside of that 2021 season, there's no reason to believe that won't be the case. Kev, the Browns pass rush is right up there with the Steelers. It's right up there with the Niners. It's right up there with the Eagles. They're as good as anybody. What does this mean? I don't know what it means, but it means that the Browns are doing what you're supposed to, and that is to win in this league. Elite quarterback play, a balanced run attack, elite playmakers at wide receiver, and some pass rushers. And competent secondary play, of course. But ultimately, the Browns checked off every box. They revamped their wide receiver room, and they revamped the pass rush. I love what the Cleveland Browns did. Yes, I'm a homer. Yes, I'm going to say that a lot of times. But this is an adult move what the Browns did. This wasn't like I'm going to go get a mid-tier guy. This is a legit dude that if they lost Myles Garrett and had him, the Browns would still be in good shape pass rush. Now they have 2 of them. The Browns are going to – I think this might be a revolving door. I think there's always going to be a pass rusher like him that's available every season.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 1-year deal. They can't afford to go any further than that. I almost wonder if this is going to be like a rotating door for the Browns, Kev, where last year you had Jadeveon Clowney, off he goes. Now it's Smith. He could potentially go after this year. It just seems like this is going to be that position where the Browns will invest everywhere else and then just let this be a revolving door. It's going to be interesting, but I thought this was a huge move that doesn't just impact the Browns, but the AFC North and the AFC in general. It was a huge move.
It's a good pickup. I will say that I think his best years were left with Green Bay. He was a part of one of the worst defenses in the NFL last year, Minnesota Vikings. I said the exact same thing when the Pittsburgh Steelers decided to sign Patrick Peterson. I'm like, you're getting a average player from a terrible defense. I think it's much the same for the Cleveland Browns as well. Coming off the knee, coming off the shoulder and everything like that. He still can get to the quarterback. I just think that a guy like Kyle, what's the dude from the Patriots? Kyle Van Noy. I think he would have been a better fit for the Cleveland Browns because he can play linebacker and rush in. I know in this situation that Smith is going to be playing more of the rush in as opposed to linebacker, but you can get like Van Noy who can do a little bit more and probably for less money. I know this is a 1-year deal, so I think you're right. I think it's going to be a situation where like, all right, as long as Myles Garrett is Myles Garrett and you're paying him that big money, there's going to be a guy that's like looking for another deal that you can come in and basically be playing on a prove-it contract, so you're going to get their very best. You're going to get his very best that he has. My question is, how much left does he truly have? Because the last 2 seasons with the knee and the shoulder, he wasn't able to produce. In those seasons, especially for Minnesota, you and I could have went out there and got a touchdown on that defense, and he was a part of that defense along with Patrick Peterson.
Well, I mean, look, the Browns defense is bad the last 2 years, and no one's holding that against Myles Garrett. So I see your point, but at the same time, I know it's different because you're going to have age and the injuries and stuff.
Well, Myles Garrett, and I'll give Myles Garrett a ton of credit. The back half of the season, my biggest thing about Myles Garrett is he's a stats guy, and that stat, he wants sacks. He played way better against the run this past season, especially the back half of the year. And to be perfectly honest, taking off a hater cap for a second, it's really not his responsibility to be a dominant run defender. He's an edge guy. His responsibility is to contain the edge and kill the quarterback, and he does that very well. It's the middle. It's the middle where they really need the more help with. Yes, if you can get a guy like this on your roster, absolutely you do it. But I think they needed more veteran guys in the middle of the defense as opposed to going veteran on the outside and young on the inside. They need somebody, a werewolf on the middle of the defense. They need big fat guys in the middle of the defense. And unfortunately, they don't have a veteran in that. They got the rookie from Baylor who's going to be probably a starter from day one. This is a good pickup. I can't deny that. There's no denying that. I just want to see, if I was a Browns fan, I would want to see a veteran D tackle as opposed to DN
Well,
as
they
well.
did get Dalvin Tomlinson.
Okay.
Also from the Vikings.
Okay.
And Dalvin Tomlinson is the Browns' DJ Reader, where Dalvin Tomlinson, excuse me, isn't a guy that's going to get to the quarterback a lot, but he's going to stop the run.
Yeah.
Because the Browns' biggest issue, they couldn't stop the run to
Right.
save their lives. I mean, they lost last year to Atlanta. They had no business losing to Atlanta. They left wins on the table last year. They don't lose to the Jets if they have a fairly competent defense. They don't lose, and shouldn't take all the put it all on the defense. The offense could have made some better decisions. Don't throw that interception late against the Jets. But that you don't give up.
Take a knee at the one.
You don't give up double-digit points in 90 seconds.
I mean, you're guarding a great Garrett Wilson from The Ohio State University, man. I mean, what can you do?
But so they couldn't stop the run there. They beat the Jets if they have a fairly competent defense. That's another win right there. That's 9 wins right there on the season last year. You don't lose to Atlanta if you stop the run. That's the 10 wins right there that they would have needed to get to the postseason. So the Browns did what they needed. Dalvin Tomlinson is the run stuffer that DJ Reader is for the Cincinnati Bengals. So that was key. So having him inside. They're also talking about using Za'Darius Smith a little bit inside, and the guy that they got from the Texans, and I can never pronounce his name. It's Okuranku or whatever his name is, but he was a guy in the top 20. They have 3 guys in the top 20 as far as double team is concerned, as far as the pass rate and all that. Look, statistically, this is huge. And plus, if a down year for a pass rusher is 10 sacks, the Browns will take that, and they didn't give up hardly anything to get him. The Vikings paid the majority of that contract.
Right.
And if they were to go out and try to get a Chase Young, they were going to have to pay a lot of money to do that, get that extension at the expense of another position that I'm not saying that they would have been against, but at least with this guy, even if a down year is 10 sacks, you add that to the sacks that you're going to get with Myles Garrett, and you have that on both sides. And plus he's versatile. You could even use him in the inside. And then, you also have the fact that they go out and they get one of the best defensive coordinators in Schwartz playing in that system. I think he's going to eat, but the Browns did a very good job of revamping this defensive line. I know what you're saying about, going out, maybe getting a little bit younger of that, but I don't think that this is a long-term thing. I think Za'Darius Smith in there with Myles Garrett, Dalvin Tomlinson, of course, and then you have the guy from the Texans. I hate they can't pronounce his name, but he's
That's normally me that can't pronounce names.
Yeah, so I like the secondary. I like the pass rush, and I think that Za'Darius Smith is a game changer for Cleveland as far as that's concerned. But Za'Darius Smith, over the last since 2019, Myles Garrett, Hassan Reddick, T.J. Watt, Aaron Donald, Za'Darius Smith, the only guys that have had 10-plus sack seasons 3 or more times. So I'd say that's pretty dang good. I think the Browns improved dramatically there, and we'll see what happens. So,
T.J. Watt.
But no, there's that.
T.J. Watt.
With that being said, you've seen the Bengals make a huge offseason addition in Orlando Brown, and obviously the Browns on the defensive end here. Which guy, in your opinion, and we're going to get to open up the phone lines and get to the comment section here. The Bengals had Orlando Brown Jr., the biggest name free agent that there was this year, the highest rated free agent. The Browns, although he wasn't a free agent, get one of the biggest trades at this point, trying to get these pass rushers who, again, they're tough to come by, but they're not tough to come by if you're willing to give up something. Again, a team that, the Vikings are slowly rebuilding. There's Dalvin Cook, if you saw on their social media thing today, they kind of blocked him out on there. It's very petty stuff, but they replaced him with another running back on the roster. So he's going to be traded or moved soon and all that stuff. So you could find guys like this that aren't on the free agent market. But which guy is going to have a bigger impact for that? Both will have big impacts, but which one is going to be more AFC North, as far as an impact is concerned? Is it going to have a bigger impact on the Browns getting their guy in Smith, or is it going to be a bigger impact for the Bengals getting Orlando Brown Jr.?
Bigger impact for the Cleveland Browns because now Za'Darius Smith is going to be blocked one-on-one. You always have to double team Myles Garrett. So now he's one-on-one all the time, and he's still a good pass rusher. He was getting double-digit sacks, being the best pass rusher on his team. Now he's soloed up, so you'd imagine that he's going to eat on his side. You would imagine maybe it's not even double-digit sacks this year, but you expected him to cause havoc in the backfield. Those pressures, tip passes, and things of that nature. For Orlando Brown, he was the best free agent out there, and you shore up one side of the offensive line, but I don't think that necessarily frees up everything else on the offensive line. Those guards are still sus for the Cincinnati Bengals. So, and also like stat-wise, the only stats for an offensive lineman are bad stats. Like, remember they had to create the pancake block for Orlando Pace from Ohio State because there aren't any stats for offensive linemen that are good. They only talk about the sacks that you give up. They don't talk about all the other great things that you do. So Orlando Brown, let's just say he only gives up 2 sacks all season. But if Za'Darius Smith gets 12 sacks, that's way more eye-popping.
Yeah. Yep.
So
we'll see what ends up happening. The Browns, this caps off all their defensive additions, whether it's to the draft free agency. They added Juan Thornhill, one of the top safeties in the league from, of course, the Kansas City Chiefs. That was a big get. You had him with Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome, who Greg Newsome might be playing his final season with the Browns. Anthony Walker they bring him back. Taki had that season-ending injury last year. Look, he's not an elite linebacker by any means, but he played the position fairly well. That was a big loss for, losing him, but then revamping that defensive line. I think that Orlando Brown Jr. will be a huge get for the Cincinnati Bengals. When you talk about a team that can never seem to get the offensive line right, they land the biggest free agent at offensive lineman in the, and I think surprised the Bengals fans. I don't think anyone thought that they
didn't surprise me.
Well, yeah, you called it from the get-go.
Call me now.
It was a great get, but I don't know how much. I know this sounds silly. He is going to make an impact, but I don't know how many wins he's going to add to the table. I think if Za'Darius Smith stays healthy, wins will be at, like I just brought up those 2 games last year, where just a competent defensive guy to help Myles Garrett out there. They don't lose to the Jets. They don't lose to the Falcons or whatever. And that's the 10 wins right there that kind of get them into the postseason. I think that Za'Darius Smith is a bigger impact guy for the Browns to help them fix their issues. Joe Burrow has been so damn dominant, even with the worst offensive line in the league. He nearly won a Super Bowl with the worst, getting sacked 70 times. So as much as Orlando Brown will help the Bengals, we've seen Joe Burrow overcome bad offensive line play. The Browns can't overcome bad defensive line play. I think that's why this is a bigger get for the Browns, but it was still a must-need get for the Cincinnati Bengals. So no shade there as much as people think I will.
Yeah, you go look at a Hall of Fame offensive tackle and Joe Thomas. He did his job correct. Basically, every single game he played, every single snap he played, he did his job correct. He graded out on the PFFs and just people just watching from the sky. He's not giving up sacks. He's doing his thing, road grading on blocking. Didn't help his team win no more games. They went 0-16 one year where he was first team all pro. Like, as an individual, he did his thing. And I think as an individual, Orlando Brown is going to do his thing, but that doesn't make up for the other guys around him. Yep. Like, hey, man, I'm doing my thing. What about you, offensive guard? What about you, center? What about you, right tackle? Are you doing your thing? Because my guy's not getting pressure on the quarterback. So his stuff isn't going to be eye-popping unless it's eye-poppingly bad.
Kenner and Cav with you here on 1410 Wing AM. In the comment section, Denver Lewis, he says, linebacker corps still question marks, being real. Huge Browns fan here. Oh, no, look, the Browns aren't – look, they're not an elite defense. I think they have an elite pass rush. I think that's where we're at with that. I don't think it's better than the Niners. I don't think it's better than the Eagles. I don't even think it's better than the Steelers. I'm interested to see kind of where they kind of go this upcoming season too, as far
to
as
the moon, baby.
But I think it's the second best pass rush in the division. As far as that goes, I think that the Bengals are good. Look, a lot of really good defenses in the AFC North, no doubt about it. But I think the Browns have the second best pass rush behind. The Bengals might have the worst in the division, and it's still very good. Like when you have Hendrickson, that's not a shot at the Bengals. That's just the reality of it. But we'll see what ends up happening as far as that's concerned. Matt on YouTube said they signed Tomlinson for the defensive tackle position, Kev. Plus Ogbra, still can't pronounce his name, so he calls him Ogbra. And Smith can also play some defensive tackle. So they do have options there. But again,
that's my whole thing. Yeah, they can play it, but can they play it well?
Tomlinson can, yeah. And by the way, you crap it all over the Vikings defense. It was a top 10 defense last year. They fixed the defense last year. It's when you have Kirk Cousins. The offense is the one that took a step back last year. That's what the big talk was. The one reason that they were steady last year is because they were more balanced, and that the offense wasn't as explosive as outside of Justin Jefferson, of course.
The stats will tell you that. When you watch the game, it told you something totally different. I mean, the playoff game, like the Giants converted 75% of their third downs, and their third downs weren't third ones where they were out there doing the Philly push. They were like 3rd and 6. Like they got zero pressure on the quarterback, and that was a problem for them all season long. Like their offense was still doing their 1-2 thing. I don't know, man. I don't know. 3 dudes from a suspect defense coming to the AFC North. I'm not a fan of Patrick Peterson ending up with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's a Hall of Famer career-wise, but like this is Patrick Peterson at 34 years old. This ain't Patrick Peterson at 24 years old.
So if the Steelers got Myles Garrett coming from a very bad defense last year, would you say, yeah, he came from a bad defense, I don't want him?
No. Myles Garrett as an individual played very well for the Cleveland Browns. He played okay.
10 sacks is okay.
That's the stat. The stat will tell you anything that you wanted to tell you. How
could you ignore that?
10 sacks. I mean, like we talk about with this whole situation with over 1,000 yards. That's only 66 rushing yards a game. If you do the math on this, that's not a sack a game. It's not a sack a game.
But with that list of the guys who have 10 sacks, since 2019, I mean, every one of them are elite. But you're just going to discredit him because he played for the Vikings?
I'm going to discredit him because they were bad.
You know what I hear from you? That's all I hear from you.
I discredit them. I just was talking about I didn't want Patrick Peterson on my team. How am I being a homer? I don't want Patrick Peterson.
I don't care about Patrick Peterson.
Exactly.
What does Patrick Peterson have to do with that?
I'm saying he's on the Steelers. I don't want him on the Steelers because he was a part of a bad defense and he played bad last year.
You can hate on your team, just leave my team alone.
That's what it is. That's what now the truth comes out.
Is great.
Your
team.
You want to put a wager on it? You want to put a wager on it?
Why you always want to bet?
Because
gambling problem. Call 1-800.
Because you talk and then I say wager and then you speak.
And then when I say what, you don't say anything. So wager what?
We can wager a nice little dinner up to Mode X.
Because why? We got gift cards.
I know the manager.
Yeah.
Shouts out to Scott.
Well, Scott, yeah. I still don't remember Mode X.
Good times at good old Mode X. It's going to be a great summer at Mode X, by the way.
Kenner and Cap, 1410 Wing AM. I'll switch gears.
Put something on it.
So we'll come up with it on the other side. I'm gonna distract Kev with some NBA talk. How about that? So ESPN's Jason Fitz, who's a regular on the show during the season for NFL stuff, of course.
With the left.
He had a theory about LeBron James, about Hey, if you're going to exit these playoffs, he highly suggests that it happens now and not in the finals. We'll talk about that. Plus, Adrian Wojnarowski dropped a Woj bomb. It was more of a hot take than a Woj bomb. There was no breaking news. But the greatest NBA prospect, I would think, would be LeBron James. He says it's not LeBron James. He says it's the individual coming out today. His take on NBA Countdown earlier today was very interesting. We'll get to all of that coming up. Kidder and Cap, 1410 Wing AM. Darius Smith, I can see why you're afraid. I can see.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Forecast is calling for decreasing clouds and 49 tonight, sunny, 70 for Wednesday, sunshine, 75 on Thursday. I'm Rick Schremp for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Carol Wirtz Tire and Auto Service at 730 South Patterson in Dayton, where they treat every vehicle like their own and every customer like family. Online at c-wtire.com.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Imagine getting ahead of your irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C by treating it with Linzess. Then you could start proactively managing your constipation with belly pain and get ahead of your symptoms. Talk to your doctor about Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
For powerful HP tech your business can count on Staples. Staples has great prices on a full range of HP printers, PCs, laptops, and monitors. And now through May 27th, score an extra $50 off all HP laptops regularly priced $599.99 and above with the Staples Connect app. Plus, this week only, the HP OfficeJet 9015E wireless color inkjet printer is $70 off. For the best deals on the best HP tech for your small business, shop Staples. In-store only. Excludes Chromebooks and clearance.
Guys, fellas, men, do you want a better sex life? Roman has genuine medication that helps you achieve and maintain what you need to perform. Roman has discreet wipes that help you last 4 times longer in bed. Roman has testosterone testing and treatment. Treating low testosterone can help revive your sex drive. So men, what are you waiting for? For a better sex life, go to ro.co/bettersex. Do it today and get 20% off. That's ro.co/bettersex.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Get top deals on everything you need to freshen up your yard, like the Cobalt 24-volt string trimmer and leaf blower combo kit, only at Lowe's. Was $199, now just $149. Plus, get your lawn in shape with up to $15 off select Scott's Easy Seed Lawn Repair Mixes. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Scott's offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Get a great deal on select Kubota equipment, the #1 rated tractor brand for durability and owner experience in the U.S. The versatile lineup features performance-matched attachments to help you make the most of your land. Right now at participating dealers, get a Kubota compact tractor for 0 down, 0% APR for 84 months. Now through June 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com/offers for full disclaimer.
Stop by Columbus Equipment in Columbus, Dayton, or Toledo to see their full line of Kubota construction equipment, or check them out online at columbusequipment.com.
Hi, Greg McAfee here from McAfee Heating and Air. Dayton and the Miami Valley enjoy buying products made in the USA. Unfortunately, many HVAC products are now made in the communist country of China, and that's where the profits go too. McAfee systems come from the states of Indiana, South Carolina, Iowa, and Texas, and we're proud of it. 32 years strong. Get an estimate online at mcair.com.
$5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right. My friends at Cordell Transportation are now hiring experienced Class A CDL drivers with excellent work history. If that's you, apply now. Cordell Transportation offers home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight, and brand new equipment, plus a $5,000 sign-on bonus paid over 18 months, paid orientation, and company 401k with company match. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Save now on the garden essentials to brighten up your outdoor spaces. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement.
Hey, it's Justin Kinner from the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. We appreciate all of our listeners and, of course, our sponsors. In fact, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be able to do what we do every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. We take pride in being Dayton's only local afternoon sports talk show right here in the Miami Valley. If you would like to jump in as a sponsor of our show or promote your services within our show, all you have to do is reach out to us directly by texting us at 937-518-1410. Want Kevin and I to endorse your business and services? Just text us. You want to promote an open house, a grand opening, new location, or any other kind of service? Just text us. Bottom line is that we are here to help spread the word and help grow your business. Text us today, 937-518-1410, and we'll give you all of the information that you need to start promoting your business on the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash back with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Kinner and Kev.
Hi.
So over the weekend, Kev, do you remember when the documentary from LeBron James in high school, More Than a Game?
Yes.
Love that damn documentary. I watched it like hundreds of times when it came out. Just watched it on loop. I watched it for the first time in like 10 years over the weekend. I was like, man, I actually love the documentary for being like 10 plus years old. I thought it was like really cool, like some of the graphics and just some of the stuff, like transitions and stuff. Thought it was very well done. And then it just brought me back because a lot of the footage was from obviously here at the,
right
in the state of Ohio. There was actually a few games that they used clips from at UD Arena. I kind of forgot about that.
Altar, baby.
One thing I learned too, we talked about Buckdale winning a state championship this past season. I didn't realize that Buckdale is where all of those kids almost ended up going because that's where, it was the inner city school there, St. Vincent, St. Mary's. You could just tell just in the scenes that they were making a point with showing the hallways there, like why it was such a big deal that they chose, that they sold out going to Akron, St. Vincent, St. Mary's and everything like that. Keith Dambrot was the coach there. And that's what ultimately led them to there. And watching this years later, it's kind of just cool kind of seeing how everything went. That's why when we see Akron, St. Vincent, St. Mary's come back to Flying to the Hoop and you still see Drew Joyce as the coach, it's really cool. So much cool stuff happened. We're putting the MJ thing aside. Like this is just simply LeBron James and the greatness of LeBron. Like I was thinking today, LeBron retires. There's stars all over the league. They ain't stars though. There ain't like the NBA is not in bad shape by any means, but like that element, there's always been a power figure in the league.
Right.
And as great as Steph is, I still feel like there's a gap in the the star power.
Plus,
Maybe
he's
I'm wrong.
35.
That too. Well, yeah. But like when MJ left, it's not like when MJ left, if we wanted to use the 96 exit or 97 exit, whatever it was, it's not like we knew who was going to be the face of basketball moving forward. There was an idea, okay, Shaq, there was the personality, the AIs and those guys coming in. AI taking over even today.
Coming for everybody, job.
Not Allen Iverson, but AI. But like it's wild. Like you think back to when LeBron came into the league. Like it's been 20 years. It's been like that documentary was covering his time. Like I remember in high school, just the buzz, and like I remember going to a buddy's house just to watch this high school game on ESPN. And there's Dick Vitale and Jay Billis and everyone doing this game. And I'm like, this is a high schooler. I went to Van Wert High School. Wayne Trace played. Wayne Trace. No one's ever heard of Wayne Trace. It's fine. But Wayne Trace played Akron St. Vincent St. Mary's, and that was like the biggest deal in the world. Ottawa Glandorf, another small town up from where I'm from, they played Akron St. Vincent St. Mary's, and that was like the Super Bowl to them. That like when small schools like where I'm from got to play LeBron James. Who cares? We got punched by 80 probably. It was we got to play them. How cool is that? That was not too long. That was 20 plus years ago. Like LeBron has been around so long, and what he's doing right now is just absolutely insane. But him coming out of high school, I can't think of a bigger. They were talking about like Lou Alcindor was the last big name that had that much buzz. And the difference between Lou Alcindor and LeBron, obviously Kareem. But the difference between the two was that like LeBron had this buzz as like a sophomore. Kareem had it as a senior. Like it was like, okay, it was about to happen. Like LeBron's buzz was going for years and all that. But like I was just fascinated watching this because I'm like, I don't know what does the league have right now that's the equivalent to that, Kev? I can't think of any. I know when MJ left, there was the buzz of LeBron, at least about coming in, but Kobe and Shaq, and you at least had the Lakers dynasty. That was the league's been so dynasty centric.
Right.
That I don't know if there's a dynasty existing right now in the game. The Warriors is kind of wrapping up. But you went from the Bulls in the 90s to the Lakers and Spurs kind of trading on and off throughout the 2000s. I was watching something today. They put the Celtics in there, the team that won.
Right.
I love Kevin Garnett and that Celtics team, but that's not a dynasty. The Pistons won one. They were good. They were sprinkled in there with Ben Wallace and company. But then you went to the Miami Heat team that went right to the Warriors. That's taken us into now. I don't know when that next dynasty is going to be. I don't know who that next LeBron is going to be. There's stars all over the league. And maybe the biggest star in the league is all over the news for all the wrong reasons in Ja right now. We'll get to that in a bit. But it was just fascinating watching that, like how spoiled we've been with. I know everyone thinks they hate LeBron. You think you hate LeBron, not you, but like listeners. You can't talk about LeBron without bringing up all the political stuff and all this. I'm like, forget about that. Take that. Who cares? Like, I don't. Like, stop it with that stuff. You're watching greatness. When LeBron leaves, you're going to say good, and then you're going to realize that there's not many stars in any sports that are like LeBron. And it's just fascinating to me. But Wojnarowski today, Kev, said that the player that's coming out in Wembanyama, I can't even pronounce his name, but basically the teams that have been tanking.
Big Vic.
Right, yeah, the teams that have been tanking, trying to get his services. It's been fascinating. But he had this to say. I bring all this up about LeBron because he had this to say about Wembanyama and all the teams that are positioning themselves to get him. Take a listen.
This is the most highly anticipated player to ever enter the NBA. And this is maybe not only the greatest prospect in the NBA's history, maybe the greatest prospect in the history of team sports.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow. I think there's Malik Andrews there. Wow is right. I like Woj. And obviously he has a lot on this year. And we heard a lot about this kid. But Kev, can we really say that? Can he really say that? I mean, everyone has their opinion. I get that. But where are you when you hear that?
It's so difficult for me because what people always want to hear from you and I definitely think I'm a little bit different from, other sports people out there. I'm not afraid to say, I don't know, because I'm going to backtrack a little bit. When Bronny James officially became a 5-star recruit and he's going to go to USC and everything like that, everybody heard a million people, he's not a 5-star. He's not this good. He's not that good. Hey man, I'm not a scout. I have no idea. I have no idea. And I could say the same thing about Big Vic. I have the foggiest. I have no clue. But what I will say is teams, quote unquote, get it wrong all the time. You think Philly would rather have, I don't know, Jason Tatum over drafting Markelle Fultz, who no longer plays for them anymore. And, Jason Tatum was having probably the worst game of his career and then decided to drop 16 points in the fourth quarter in game 6 and then decided to drop 51 in game 7. So it's not just me or you or Bob or John who get it wrong. These organizations get it wrong all the time. Their projections for guys. I think of another guy, Darko. Remember that? Remember Darko? Remember when Darko went? Yeah, he went ahead of Melo. Some dude named Carmelo Anthony, who's like the 10th all-time leading scorer in the NBA. Some dude named Dwayne Wade, who's the 3rd best shooting guard ever in the NBA. Some dude named Chris Bosh. Like, so these organizations get these projections wrong all the time. So I'm not paid to know, but they are paid to know. So I have no idea. I have the foggiest. And one more thing about Kareem. Backtracking again, great documentary on HBO Max. Definitely should watch it.
Is that recent? Like, is that?
It came out, I want to say 2016, 2017, somewhere around there. It talks about, he's from New York, and it talks about him going to UCLA. And part of the reason why he decided to go to UCLA is to get away from New York City, and because obviously LA was always a more liberal city, and obviously later he becomes Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but he was already thinking about those changes in his life. So he figured he'd be far more accepted out there. That's also part of the reason why after you played for Milwaukee and won the championship, that's part of the reason he went back to LA, because he felt like he could truly be himself. Great documentary about Kareem. Definitely should watch it.
So all the points you brought up, I mean, well, like you're talking about like Melo and these guys like coming in. Melo had a lot of buzz around him too, especially he goes to Syracuse, wins the championship, all that. Was he had to go to college, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he had
no. Yeah, he could have came straight out.
He could have came straight out.
Yeah, because Bron came straight out of high school and Melo was a year older than LeBron.
I wonder why he did it. I can't remember during that time.
I read his book, and according to his book, Melo was basically, his goal was to go to college. He wanted to go to college.
I know.
Exactly.
Like...
He said his goal was to get to college, and he's like, man, I want to go to college and I want to get a degree. My mom works 2 jobs. I go to college, I can get a degree, yada, yada, yada. And then they won the national championship, and Boeheim said, get out. Like, you better go cash that check while you can.
So I thought of, I don't know why I haven't thought about that before, but you want to talk about Darko Milicic. You want to talk about dynasties. That Pistons team, when you had Chauncey Billups, okay, when you had Chauncey Billups, and you had obviously Ben Wallace and Rasheed Wallace and Rip Hamilton, and these are not superstar names, but these are Hall of Fame names in the National Basketball Association. But it's why you could have had Melo with that. That would have just been absolutely insane to see what that would have happened if that was the case. But yeah, so it is fascinating that. But Kev, will bring you back on now. But so with this Webinaya guy that's coming in, what do you call him? What's his nickname?
Big Vic.
Big Vic, because I'm done trying to pretend that
I'm gonna eventually learn how to pronounce his name.
I can say Kostas Antetokounmpo, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I could say all that, but I can't. Big Vic it is. So,
Big Vic until we hear it a million times, and then we'll be able to say it correctly.
Yep, that's how it's gonna work. So with that, he didn't just say like, I mean, there's big prospects that come in all the time. The last one that we saw was Zion over at Duke. That seemed like a lot of buzz behind that train coming in. But he's saying the biggest prospect in all of team sports. That's where I can't get on board with that. Like, I feel like there has to be some kind of buzz. And although there is a buzz, we've been hearing about this guy all year, but I don't think there's like a national buzz about this kid. LeBron was global buzz about this kid, about a 16-year-old kid in Akron, at the, what do they say in that documentary, at the Salvation Army on whatever street over in Akron, Ohio. Like that to me is buzz. That is a big prospect. I'm not doing this old LeBron thing because I'm a big LeBron fan. I was obsessed with LeBron coming out of high school. I thought he was awesome. Still do. But it's just wild to me that like he's actually saying that. Why is he saying that? What is it about this guy? And maybe you don't know much about him. I don't either.
I've seen him play 2 games. I saw him play versus the Ignite team, the G League team. And Scoot Henderson, I watched that game. He was dominant in that game. Like he's got game. I just don't know. Like, okay, so what are they're projecting to what he's gonna become? Like, is he gonna have a crazy handle at that size? Like, can you have a crazy handle at 7'5"? I'm not sure you can have a crazy handle at 7'5" when people are, trying to lock you up. But I mean, we've seen that progression. Like Jason Tatum is 6'9", has a crazy handle. So is this the next evolution of a basketball player? Because I saw his Outside the Lines video or special over the weekend, and they trained him like a guard, and they trained him to be a guard. but he just kept growing. Kind of like we talk about Anthony Davis and all that. Like Anthony Davis was 6 foot in 10th grade, and then he was 6'5", and then he's 6'9", and now he's 7 feet, but he still has all the guard skills and everything like that. So they're saying that's what happened to him.
Yeah, that's wild. And like, you want to talk about how good basketball has become overseas too. Like, basketball was America's sport. Like,
America.
I mean, I did say it like that. No, like, obviously there's always been basketball overseas. There's always been good players overseas, but even the best foreign-born players would come over and be at the most a Tony Parker or a Manu Ginobili.
Yes, sir.
And there's nothing wrong with it. By the way, those were two really good players, but at
Hall of
no
Famers.
point were we looking at them saying they're about to be the face of the league or anything. That's what's happening now. I mean, you could put an NBA championship. You could take all the foreign players back in the day, put them together. They're just a very good team, not a championship team. You put all the foreign players like Luka and Jokic and Giannis and these guys, and now this guy coming in potentially. But that's the thing. If you're saying this is the biggest prospect over LeBron and Lou Alcindor and those guys, this guy better average 20 a game. He better play, and like not like
more than that.
He needs 2 or 3 years to develop. I think I talked earlier about Jamar Chase putting pressure on Joe Burrow. I think this guy, look, LeBron had all the hype in the world. He was getting Hummers in high school. That sounded funny. Shut up. I got to stop talking today. But this dude was all over the news. I haven't heard a thing about this guy outside of some random, ESPN coverage and that, this, that, and the other. I don't know, man. I disagree with this. I hope so. The NBA needs someone to come in because Ja's messing everything up right now for him. He should be the guy that's the face of this league once LeBron and Steph kind of move on, him and Giannis. And right now it's Giannis, but Giannis is, I don't know if his star power is where Ja's could be. So I don't know. It's fascinating nonetheless.
Yeah, we got a good caller on the line right now. We got our guy Scott from Mode X.
Yeah, we got Scott.
Hello.
What is up, sir? How are you?
Good. I'm doing good. What's going on?
Good. Hanging in there, man. How you doing?
Doing good.
Hey, what was the name of that tequila real quick? Because I really liked it. What was the name of that tequila?
Suavecito.
I was very suave that night with that Suavecito.
you were Rico Suave.
And it's a sipper, correct?
It's a sipper, yes. Yeah. Most of the tequilas up there are sippers for sure. We're not in college anymore. We don't want to taste the Don Pablo twice going in and coming back out. So
well, man, I hope you're doing well. What you got for us?
Yeah, I had to call. I had the pleasure of meeting the other day in the restaurant the head football coach, Mo Harden from Xenia.
Okay.
Came in, and you need to have him on. He's a wonderful man. He's running a good, clean program over there. I went to Centerville myself, but he's got it going on. They're building a new stadium. They're getting a new scoreboard. His kids are all graduating, and he is the nicest man to talk to. You should have him on sometime.
Absolutely. We're actually we're putting our football schedule together as we currently speak right now for the upcoming fall. So we're pretty excited about that, and Xenia will be a part of that. So that'll be pretty fun.
Good. Well, try to have Coach Mo Harden on, the head coach over there. He's a really great guy. And on another note, you guys, what's your prediction for the Browns? I know I'm getting off the pro basketball thing, but what do you think the Browns are going to do?
Are you real quick? Are you a Browns fan?
No, remember we had that conversation at the restaurant.
No, I'm telling you, I don't remember. What I tell you, I asked you about that.
Suavecito.
You can't say remember. You know I can't remember. No, the Browns, like, Kev, first of all, when I did their record predictor, I'm a homer, so it doesn't matter what I say. But I said 12-5 was the record I had predicted for them.
5-12. No, I'm playing.
Dang. Yeah, 12-5 is pretty strong. I mean, everybody's, as far as Dan Patrick shows and the national shows, they got them at 9 wins. So,
and you know what? They deserve that type of stuff because, look, they haven't proven anyone wrong. And, the Cincinnati Bengals were in a situation years ago where no matter how hyped everyone was trying to get to, get Cincinnati media, getting everyone to buy into them, they weren't getting that respect. It took back-to-back AFC championship games. It took a Super Bowl appearance. It took Joe Burrow being an MVP caliber quarterback for people to finally start buying in. But the Browns haven't done any of that. So they don't, I can't sit here and act like everyone's bullying them because they put themselves in that situation. And at the end of the day, the Browns, they have a habit of being the Browns. So,
well, that's true. But I do want to say I think they have a good defense and they've got a great running game. I think they can get 10 wins out of it for sure. I think they might be a playoff team. You never know. Wild card, maybe.
That's what I like to hear. I like that confidence right there, Scott.
Yeah.
I like that.
And then to be coming down to Cincinnati as a wild card, and we're going to.
Oh, there it is. There. All right, but Scott, hey, thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate it.
Hey, Justin, Kev, good to see you. Stop back up at the restaurant, all right?
Will do.
Sounds like a plan.
Talk to you later.
Later.
Scott from Modex.
The Modex.
Suavecito.
I couldn't think of what it was when I was home for Mother's Day because we stopped at the store, and I told you my mom drinks bourbon, and I was trying to get her on the tequila game, and I couldn't think of what it was. So now I know. I'm writing it down. I'm texting my mom right now.
He said it's a sipper, but I'm
throwing
it back. Throwing it back.
I'm looking at the Browns' schedule and the good old schedule game.
Be nice.
I'll do this. So week 1. Oh gosh, the Bengals off the rip. Bengals and Steelers. That's a 1-1. Let me 1-1.
Oh, who we beating, Kev? Who?
Not beating the Steelers. Not beating the Steelers.
Wow.
Not beating us in our home opener, baby. That's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna give you that.
First of all, Chad Kinser just said, he goes, Kinner would have cussed him out and hung up on him last week without you, Kevin. First of all, I would not have cussed out Mr. Scott and hung up on Mr. Scott. Just throwing that out there. I would not have done that.
I can see all seriousness. I can see the Bengals getting to 11 wins.
Bengals get to 11. That's what I had them at.
I'm sorry, the Browns. I'm sorry. I can see the Browns getting to 11 wins.
I had them at the 11-12 range. First of all, I have every AFC North team splitting. That's safe. I get that. But I do. I mean, look, the Bengals, they do beat up on the Steelers since Joe Burrow's arrived. So there's that.
Not in week 1 last year.
But I think, but Kev, the excuse train is rolling up.
I'll take it, whatever I can get.
Damon Hahn said that your mom is a very smart lady, that bourbon is the way to go.
Bro.
My wife loves bourbon.
Uncle Nearest. I bought her a bottle of Uncle Nearest, 100 proof. And she's like, you got to try it. I'm like, okay, I'll try it. And you drink this? How can you drink this? We even gave my grandma a little sip. She was like, this is good. I'm like, obviously, I'm the weak one of the family. Obviously.
I'm not doing the bourbon. I'll tell you that much. Hey, last thing on LeBron real quick here. A good friend of the show, ESPN's Jason Fitz, who will be returning to the show to make his regular appearances during the NFL season. He had this to say about LeBron James and want to talk about the aura of LeBron James and his legacy. But LeBron James, you better win the whole damn thing. And if you don't win the whole damn thing, you better lose now. Here's Jason Fitz's take on this, which I agree with 1,000,000%.
It would be better for LeBron's legacy to lose in the Western Conference Finals than it would be to go to the NBA Finals and lose there. Hear me out, all right? Your GOAT, by the way, my GOAT is LeBron. Your GOAT is Michael Jordan.
State it. Thank you. I'm about to say you better state his name.
Every time we talk about Michael Jordan, all we talk about is, well, he never lost in the finals every stinking time. Have we ever talked about the fact that, I don't know, he did lose 3 consecutive years in the playoffs to the Pistons, including twice in the conference finals? No, we don't talk about that at all. Every time we talk about the Buffalo Bills in the 90s, what do we talk about? 4 straight Super Bowl losses, and we talk about them like they're absolute trash. The way these things work, if LeBron goes to the NBA Finals and loses, he will be 4-7 in his finals appearances, which means for the rest of his life, Stephen A is going to be sitting up there on First Take telling you, well, he lost 7 times in the finals. If he doesn't get there, if he loses in the Western Conference, it's a plucky effort for a year. We didn't expect this from the Lakers. Everybody will champion it. If he goes to the finals and loses, it'll actually be worse for the long-term legacy conversation that we all hate about LeBron than it would be if he gets to the finals and he loses. This isn't even a take. It's just a fact.
Nice. First of all, I agree with him 100%. I'm not fine with anyone just losing to lose, and no one's going to lose just to protect their legacy. I'm not getting in the Michael LeBron debate. I've always thought it's beyond silly to ignore the seasons that MJ didn't win and just, use the seasons that he won to win that debate, and then hold it against LeBron for getting to more finals and not winning in the finals and all that. But regardless of our opinion, and I'm hearing that echo that you did too, just so we're clear. I don't know why and why it came out of nowhere, but I don't think it's going over the feed. But just so we're clear, the thing is, at the end of the day, that's fascinating about this is that this isn't like our listeners, like NBA fans created that.
Right.
Like people who are ripping Jason Fitz on social media right now, I'm like, but no, you can't get mad at him. Like the same people that make that argument about MJ being the GOAT because he never lost in the finals, and look at all the finals that LeBron lost in, how could you disagree with this? And we're not talking MJ. I'm just saying, but it does play a role in that because that argument is used and Jason referenced it. But like, yes, like, and look, LeBron getting to this point, no one had the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals, even at the trade deadline. I like the moves that they made, and we had to see how it kind of unfolded. But man, this has been a very interesting stretch for the Lakers, 2 series in, and now people have them winning in 6. I'm fascinated by this series with the Lakers and Nuggets. And if he does get back to the finals, the Lakers and Celtics potentially again, my goodness, those 2 franchises just can't stay away. I mean, I saw a stat that they've played each other every decade in the finals.
Goodness gracious.
No, not 2010 to 20. They didn't.
Was that?
It was the Heat that they played.
No, they did because
The Kobe, that was 11.
Yeah, but they beat the Lakers once, and then like the Celtics missed 2 years of the finals and got back and then lost to.
So there wasn't 90s and 2000s though. So that don't.
Oh yeah, definitely not the 90s. Definitely not the 90s. My whole thing is, I mean, obviously we're saying like, all right, what's better to lose now or later? And for me, I'm not one of those people that like be like, oh man, he keeps losing the final. Like, I think his legacy is basically cemented. Like it's not gonna fall. Not gonna go any lower than it is wherever you have him. If you got him number 1, I don't think he should drop from number 1 because he went to the finals and lost. If you have him number 2, I don't think he should fall from 2 to 3. But I mean, I get it. I get what he's saying. For everybody out there with 1,000,001 opinions about LeBron and Michael Jordan and everything like that. I just think that the Denver Nuggets are going to run right past them. I think that KCP, aka the bubble MVP, is about to lock down Austin Reeves. I know Austin Reeves is going to get a nice contract this offseason. They're talking about like a 3-year, $50 million contract. Shouts out to him. About to cash in, about to get paid. I think KCP is going to lock him up, though. I think Jamal Murray is about to make D'Lo look like D'Lo that played with the T-Wolves. And I think that Michael Porter Jr. is the X factor. Michael Porter Jr. is one of those dudes where he's the third option, but talent-wise, he's probably the best talent like out there. And I think that the Denver Nuggets have, if you say the 5 players that are top 5 players in this series, I think it goes Joker, AD, Jamal Murray.
Jamal ain't playing tonight, by the way.
He's not?
I thought I saw he's questionable. Let me check.
Oh, wow.
Keep going.
I didn't see that. So I would, it's crazy to say this, but I wouldn't get to LeBron till 4, but we're talking about LeBron today, not LeBron's career or legacy. I think they have better players than the Lakers, and I think that they beat the Lakers in 6. I think they are way better than the Golden State Warriors. We're not talking about an individual player like a Steph. We're talking about a collective. I think the Warriors would probably get swept by the Nuggets. I think the Nuggets win this in 6 at best.
So I can't find that. So ignore my comment about Jamal Murray. Maybe I'm imagining that I'm seeing that nonetheless. So it's interesting hearing people talk about LeBron. And obviously, look, LeBron's 38 years old. But like when people bring up, oh, look, his points per game is down. When they win is when LeBron scores less. And I think maybe it's the homer in me when it comes to LeBron. He doesn't, when he was scoring that 30 a game, he was chasing the scoring record. Yes, but AD was out for some of those games too. And like he could flip that switch. He can give you 30 a night. He can give you 39 in the playoffs. He's scoring less because AD is just dominating games as he should. The whole reason LeBron wanted to go to LA with AD is so that it could be AD's team. He's driving the bus. He's the facilitator. He's doing everything. He would rather spend more time trying to work on the boards and everything else. They're killing you on the boards. But the bottom line is that like, I don't think LeBron's points being dropped. I've heard shows all over talk about, oh man, his points are dipping. I think that's, I don't say by design, but like, LeBron doesn't need to score. when he needs to score, he scores. When AD's been playing poorly, it's not a coincidence. When the Lakers have lost, it's not AD and LeBron playing poorly. LeBron scoring in his 30s and AD not doing what he's supposed to. I don't think it's that LeBron's just, not what he used to be. Of course, he's 38 years old, but even at 38 years old, he's still better than 95%, maybe 98% of the guys in this league right now. Because then we hear about how there's some mofos in this league.
Oh, we're going to get that audio. Shouts out to my guys. For me, when I watch the game, I think the stats tell you, oh, man, he's the exact same player because he's putting up the exact same numbers. But if you look at the way he plays, it's totally different from the way he used to play. And that's no knock. I mean, he's still playing at a very high level. But for him to even say he's a better player now than what he was with the Miami Heat is quite laughable, because the Miami Heat, LeBron James would destroy this LeBron James. I know he's like, I'm way smarter. Like, well, he's way better. Like, he's way better. He's way younger. His jump shot was way better. He took way more efficient shots. But he's still great. No knock on LeBron. He's still great. And for the Lakers to win it all, Anthony Davis has to be the MVP. And you know who's okay with that? LeBron James is okay with that. And that's really all that matters is LeBron James. What LeBron James wants, LeBron James should get. If he wants Anthony Davis to take over and he knows that Anthony Davis is the main catalyst to them winning another championship, I think LeBron James will be perfectly fine with that.
Kenner and Cav here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Last thing on this. We've talked a lot of Dayton Flyers basketball as of late. Not a whole lot to talk about with Wright State.
Are you sure?
I'm jacked about this. Tanner Holden averaged 20 points per game the last time he played for Wright State. Led Wright State to the NCAA tournament where they got their first ever NCAA tournament win. He was transferred to Ohio State, and he's now coming back to the Miami Valley. He's transferring back to Wright State. It is official.
About that?
It is official. And unless Anthony Grant has a few tricks up his sleeve, the best team in Dayton next year will not be the Dayton Flyers. They may have more fans at their games, and they may have the more passionate fan base. But I can't tell you the last time that Wright State had the better basketball team, and that is the case. Wright State, as of right now, unless there's some major changes for the Dayton Flyers happening, Wright State has the best team in town right now. Congrats to Scott Nagy for pulling this off and getting him back. They were able to keep Trey Calvin, which is fantastic, who turned down bigger offers from other schools, NIL offers from other schools to stick around. So I think that's fantastic. So Wright State gets Tanner Holden back. I can't tell you how jacked I am about that. Why'd you have to do that? You had
to make sure it was a clean version.
The clean version. Tanner Holden coming back to Wright State.
Oh, welcome back.
Next season, it's going to be a fun year. Anthony Grant, Scott Nagy, Anthony Grant, head coach of Dayton, Scott Nagy, Wright State's been to 2 NCAA tournaments, Dayton none. Wright State has an NCAA tournament win, Dayton none. Wright State's getting back to the NCAA tournament now. I'm calling it right now. They're winning that league.
No doubt.
Winning that league.
No doubt. And they won't be no 15 seed.
14, baby. Here we
yes,
come.
Sir.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Kenner and Cap, 1410 Wing AM.
It's the Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Want to experience a truly unbeatable trio? Stop by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken and try a 3-piece strips meal at a great price. You'll get 3 of our freshly marinated honey-dipped premium strips, 1 famous dipping sauce, 2 unbeatable sides, and a fluffy biscuit. It's the trifecta of craveable chicken. Discover why premium strips make the perfect meal. Pick up a 3-piece strips meal from Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. Only at Lee's. Famous for chicken.
With over 15 years of experience as your local lawn health provider, Lawn Plus knows what it takes to provide a thick, healthy lawn. We offer fertilization and weed control programs, aeration and seeding, as the best defense against weeds is a thick turf. If your current lawn care company is providing 6 to 8 applications, that is far too many. We offer the highest quality products and service to get the best results in just 4 applications a year. Call us today at 937-839-LAWN, and remember, if you give a weed an inch, it'll take a yard.
Live life to the fullest. You hear that all the time, but it's easier said than done when you're in pain, right? Hey, it's Keith Byers. QC Kinetics is in the business of giving people back their quality of life and providing much needed relief for chronic joint pain. And not just providing that relief, but doing it in the most non-invasive way possible, using regenerative treatments from your body's own natural biologic. Where is your joint pain? In your knees, hips, shoulders, or back? Well, QC Kinetics concentrates these highly impactful treatments right at the source of your pain, directly applying healing properties where you need them the most. And best of all, you walk into the office and walk right out after treatment. No surgery, no downtime, and patients are raving about the results. So what does living life to the fullest look like for you? Finally, being able to play golf, hike, walk your dog, enjoy time with your family, whatever it is, don't wait one more day. Get started today with a call to QC Kinetics for your complimentary consultation. 937-936-0325. 937-936-0325.
Need an online notary? We can help. Hi, this is Mike Foley, your Montgomery County Clerk of Courts. We can notarize your documents remotely at no charge to you. All you need is a smartphone or laptop. Visit courthouse2u.com for more info.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week, there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
From the Chappelle Show and Black Mafia Family on Stars, it's Donnell Rawlins and Friends. Friday, May 26th at the Clark State Performing Arts Center in Springfield. Tickets are on sale now at etix.com.
With more ways than ever to connect to news and entertainment, did you know that 90% of new car buyers want the tried and true AM/FM radio option? That's because your local radio stations are reliable, trustworthy, and bring you a local connection that can't be replicated. Not to mention, we are free, no subscription or cellular data required. More than 80 million Americans each month depend on AM for their news, weather, and entertainment. Visit wearebroadcasters.com and tell us how you depend on AM.
You could throw your flip-flop at a bug.
Ew, a bug, get it.
But the chances of actually hitting it
Over there!
are statistically
It's still alive.
unlikely. Good thing nature's got your back. Stem bug killers combine powerful active ingredients found in plants like lemongrass and geraniol and scientifically engineer them into effective bug-fighting formulas, safe for use as directed around people, pets, and throughout the home. Stem, rooted in nature, optimized by science.
Meet Joe A, Joe B, and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect. Support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase. Make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Staples stores provide innovative products and services for small business, remote workers and learners, even teachers and parents. Explore more at your local Staples store.
Justin Kinner back with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. As you just heard, big news, college basketball locally here again. Tanner Holden, former Wright State Raider, now a Wright State Raider once again. He transferred from Ohio State after leading the Raiders to their first ever NCAA tournament win. 37 points, 11 rebounds against Bryant at UD Arena in the first 4 2 years ago. The Raiders would go on to lose by double digits against the 1 seed in Arizona, but it was a close game heading into the final 10-minute stretch, which is pretty cool. I mean, I know that sounds like a weird comment to make, but we've seen, the longer you can keep games close in the NCAA tournament, the more interesting that, you make it. You make your opponent more vulnerable to the upset. But a magical year for Wright State. The last time that Tanner Holden was here, he left Ohio State, did not go well, did not get a lot of minutes. And all the comments coming in about that. The last time he played at this level, averaged 20 points a game, 7 rebounds a game. It's exactly what he's going to bring to the table coming back for Wright State, who also has Trey Calvin. You could take, if you want to take that as a shot at UD, fine. That's not what it is, but it is a fact. With as much as Wright State gets buried in this town, with as much, attention as they do not get, as much as they deserve to get more, this deserves the attention that it gets. That does not happen. Elite players that leave mid-major programs that go out, even if it doesn't work out at their next school, they don't come home. They don't come back. And he's coming back, and that speaks volumes about the culture that Scott Nagy and his coaching staff have set for this team, and the fact that he, felt comfortable to come back, and the fact that the culture at Wright State is, welcomed him back. And you could say, well, of course they welcomed him back. Scott Nagy has let he'll take less talented players over elite players with attitude problems. He's a culture guy. Scott Nagy's a culture guy. Tanner Holden's a culture guy, and he fits right in. Coming back is going to be huge. That's the team to watch in Dayton next season. They're not, I'm not taking shots at Dayton. It's a fact. It's not a hot take. It is what it is. Trey Calvin and Tanner Holden, the Wright State Raiders, will be the basketball team in town to watch next year. Does that mean that they'll have more fans at their games in Dayton? No, it won't. I promise you it won't. It doesn't mean that team still can't be supported. So congrats to Wright State. Congrats to Tanner Holden on coming back. But how cool is that? Wright State's going to be dangerous in 2023. That's for sure. Kenner and Kev, 1410 Wing AM. We'll be right back.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.